Russell Zimmerman from the Australian Retailers Association says the onus is on the insurer to make the terms clear and simple.
I think that's what the report has shown, that in the large majority of instances, almost, and certainly where plastic gift cards are given, the terms and conditions are quite clear that they are given when they get the gift card.
A fire that caused more than $1 million damage to a 4-storey home in Melbourne southeast may have been deliberately lit. The property at Patterson Lakes was well alight when CFA crews arrived around 1 this morning. No one was home at the time. 2 Australians and a New Zealander are missing in the southern highlands of Papua New Guinea after the helicopter they were in crashed. The chopper, operated by Heavy Lift Limited, went missing yesterday afternoon. The search and rescue operation continues today. Those on board were Heavy Lift employees. Updating sport, and Richmond coach Damien Hardwick says the off-field drama which engulfed the club this week will make the players hungry for success against the Demons at the MCG this afternoon.
The great thing about this footy club is we started to improve our depth overall, so the opportunity it gives guys to play that have been dwelling in the seconds is really important for this club, and they're going to be really hungry coming in.
Also, this afternoon, North Melbourne host West Coast in Hobart. Sydney face Brisbane at the SCG. Lions coach Michael Voss says his side has improved, but the test will be whether they can stay with Sydney when they increase their intensity.
The test or challenge for us is making sure that we can have the right intent, attitude and intent. I think this group has demonstrated that week after week, but can we execute that and absorb that pressure as sort of the opposition goes up? And that's still the challenge for us.
Forwards Mark Winterbottom has qualified fastest for this afternoon's V8 Supercar Top 10 shootout in Townsville. Peter Sagan has won the 6th stage of the Tour de France, with Australian Matt Goss finishing in 3rd place. Cadel Evans avoided a major crash to move up to 6th overall, 17 seconds off the lead. Andy Murray has become the first male Brit to make the men's Wimbledon final in 74 years. He'll take on Roger Federer in tomorrow night's final. Tonight, Serena Williams takes on Poland's Agnieszka Radwanowska in the women's final. News time. 1:04.
Radio Eastern 98.1 Weather Update.
Bureau forecast for the remainder of Saturday. It'll be a sunny day. Winds north-northwesterly going for a top today of 13. The outlook for Sunday is mostly a sunny day and 14. Monday, late shower and 15. Tuesday, rain and 13. And Wednesday, showers and 13. Currently in Melbourne's outer east, it's sitting on 12 degrees at 5 after 1. This is Radio Eastern 98.1.
Now it's time to go local for your footy. This is EFL Saturday. Let's jump straight into the
As we have said all week, feathers are sure to fly at Knox Gardens Reserve today when Knox take on Lilydale, a much improved side, especially after last weekend's big victory over East Burwood. Whereas Knox, well, they're 2 games now outside that very tight Division 1 top 5, and they'll be looking for a victory today. Looking forward to bringing you the big broadcast after 2 p.m. right here on 98.1 Radio Eastern, and of course streaming on efl.org.au. This is EFL Game Day, proudly brought to you by the EFL mobile web app. Go to mformother.efl.org.au in your mobile device browser. Press the Add to Home Screen button for all the access to EFL news, scores and updates. I'm Ben Waterworth. I'll be your pre-match host, and I'm looking forward to calling this game after 2 p.m. as well. And have a look at this game and have a look at a number of other games around the Eastern Football League today. I've got the Baird family in very fine form today. Let's introduce the younger of the two. It's a very good afternoon to the man who milks cows for a living, Peter Baird.
Maybe the younger of the two, Ben, but not a lot anymore. That gap seems to be narrowing year in, year out. But no, really looking forward today to going through all the games in this pre-match, as well as the big game after 2:10 p.m. this afternoon between the two Falcons, the Blue Falcons against the Red Falcons.
Yeah, looking forward to that as well. That's going to be a commentator's nightmare, but we'll try and wrap our tongues around it. And looking forward to hearing the work of this man who will be riding the boundary thanks to Akira Urgent Care this afternoon. Very good afternoon to Ray Baird.
Good afternoon, Ben, and to all our listeners out there, and looking forward to a great game here. Knox sitting in 6th position, just outside the top 5, but Lilydale coming off a huge win last week over East Burwood.
If Knox drop this game today, Pete, is their season over?
Well, as I said on the Friday preview, it is last chance saloon, I think, for the Knox Falcons this afternoon. They are that two games outside that top 5. They really can't afford to drop 3 games out. When, as we're heading into round 12 next week, it's going to be really tough to make up 3 games within 6 rounds to go. I reckon it is. It's D-Day today for the Knox Falcons.
Well, it's also a big game today for the Lilydale Football Club, and it's a big day, of course, for their coach, Simon Rourke, as well. And thanks to Akira Urgent Care, Damien Watson has got the man himself.
Thanks very much, Betty. Simon Rourke indeed is with me. Simon, an 11-goal victory against East Burwood last week. Must have galvanised your group immensely over the past week. You'll be looking forward to a similar result today and a new challenge away from home.
Yeah, definitely. We come away from last week with a lot of confidence. I think it's been building over the last 3 weeks. Our performance has been good, and we actually put it all together last week. And the pleasing aspect of that was the 19 goals that we kicked, and we certainly shared that workload. So, yeah, we're about our continual improvement, and hopefully we can go another step this week.
And also, I was going to say, obviously, Nathan O'Keefe is your prime mover up forward this season, but it must have been pleasing to have 11 individual goal kickers last week, and you'll be looking for the same pattern today.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, our efforts have been really good over for the year, but we haven't been able to kick a winning score. And we certainly went back to the drawing board the last couple of weeks, and we found a new way through. We're probably a bit conscious of Nathan early days, and last week it all come together.
Good afternoon, Simon. Ben Waterworth here in the EFL Game Day Caravan. Good luck today. I want to ask you about Robert Allen. He seems to be one of your form players this year. He's been quite consistent as well. Tell us about his season to date.
Oh, he's been a great pickup. Warrialic boy that went to Box Hill last year and had a really good year at Box Hill. He probably would have stayed at Box Hill, but just the work commitments just didn't fit in with his time schedule. So we were fortunate. A few of the boys know him really well here, and he wanted to play at the highest level he possibly could. So we're fortunate there. He's fitted in. He's a great clubman, but more importantly, he can play the game as well. So he's a really exciting player.
We're looking forward to seeing him go about his business today. But is it fair to say, it was a slow start to the year for Lilydale, and it's taken the club as well, because both the reserves are in the bottom half of the ladder at the moment. Has it taken the seniors and the reserves just a little bit of a time to adapt back to Division 1 football?
Definitely. Assessing it the other day after our win, we've got the 3 wins on the board. The Knox game first up was really disappointing because we played well that day. Losing it, we lost a bit of confidence. It's taken time to settle, but the big factor is the intensity and the fitness levels in First Division coming out of Second Division, and I think that's taken a while to adjust to as well.
G'day, Simon. Peter Baird here, mate. It's an important day today for the Lilydale Football Club, considering you had a really successful year last year, going down to Division 2. We're probably a class above the rest of Division 2 last year. Making that step back, as you said, it has taken a little while to adjust to the tempo back again of First Division footy. Do you think today is one of the most important days for your footy club this year, coming off a great win, to try and back that up against a team that's played finals last year?
Oh, look, it's a huge challenge for us. We're doing it in a 3-week block, and we have started with East Burwood last week. So we've set our goals, and it's really important, as I said, that we continually get that improvement. We've got a few young boys playing, which we want to see them develop, and our senior core has to come to the table and put in a big effort, and we expect a win today.
And I was sort of talking to a few people during the week about the footy club, the Lilydale Footy Club, and do you think the side has improved much upon that side that was so dominant last year in Division 2?
I think it's a huge jump from Second Division to First Division. If you look at history, shows you that there's not too many clubs come up from Second Division and can dominate. And although we were a very even side last year, we didn't crush sides in Second Division. So to come up, as I said, you've got to get that fitness level is a big jump. The intensity and the timing, it's just taken a while, and it's a few boys might have got ahead of themselves as well. So you've got to take that into consideration. You win a premiership, a few get ahead of themselves. So yeah, it's just taken a while to adjust. But in saying that, we've been in a winning position in most games this year.
And how are you? Ray Baird, Simon, how are you, mate?
Good, thanks. I just lost you there for a sec.
Yeah, no, that's my fault. Yeah, look, I want to talk to you about the game 2 weeks ago against Noble Park. Now, you were right in that game, very competitive. Do you feel that that's the game that maybe sort of got your season back on track?
I think from that game, we definitely get the belief in each other and the confidence. There's no doubt about that. The boys walked away, although really disappointed we didn't win the game, and at the 25-minute mark of that last quarter, we were 3 points down and with an opportunity. We still walk away knowing now that, we can match it at this level of football.
Simon, just one final one before we let you get back to the troops and start marshalling. What type of game would you prefer today? We all know about Knox, are quite good at shutting teams down, restricting their scoring. You guys kicked over 120 points last week with O'Keefe kicking 5. What kind of game would you like? An attacking, high-scoring kind of game?
Oh, definitely. I think that's the way we played last week. It was quick ball movement, and we seemed to go a little bit more longer and direct last week. But this week, obviously, we're going to have to change our game style, play a bit more of a possession game, and we'll be looking at playing a bit more one-on-one today.
Very interesting. Looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. Well, we know it's a very stressful time for a coach, Simon, so we do appreciate your time. Good luck for today, and hopefully we get to speak to you after the game, after a victory.
Thank you.
Simon Rourke there.
Thanks very much,
thanks to Akira Urgent Care, Damien Watson, of course, Simon, the coach of the Lilydale Football Club. Interesting to note that just then, Pete, that he was going to play a little bit more one-on-one football, maybe a little bit of possession as well. Do you think that plays into Knox's hands a little bit as well, a little bit of chipping around? Because Knox like to do that a little bit themselves.
Well, we have seen how great Knox have been in shutting sides down by depriving them of the space and depriving them of the opportunity of playing that fast attacking brand of footy. If it is a little bit one-on-one, I reckon Johnny Knight wouldn't be disappointed about that. I think it does play into Knox's hands a little bit, but then I also think it gives Lilydale their best opportunity of matching it with one of the sides that over the last 12, 18 months has been one of the form sides of Division 1. There's no doubt about that. Knox rose from the pack last year, and I don't know, this could be a really, really riveting contest this afternoon if all things go as we believe it might.
It's looking like an absolute ripper as well. Just what do you make of Jared Clark this year? He was all the rage last year, kicked over 50 goals, but you look at it this year, he's only put 3 through. Now, I've asked a couple of times, they reckon it's because he's playing a little bit of a different role, but they think he hasn't kicked straight. Now, I don't know about that. Surely he's playing a different role, maybe even a decoy role, because you look at Ryan Jeffrey, he kicked 21 goals this year. What do you think of the whole Jared Clark situation at the moment?
Well, if you ask Johnny Knight, which we did when he came out and joined us in the special comments chair on Queen's birthday weekend for the Noble Park Bowling Clash out at Baldwin Oval, we asked him those sort of questions, and he said, well, Jared Clark's probably had as many opportunities of kicking goals as what he may have had last year. I don't know whether that's quite the case, but he did allude to the fact that his kicking has let him down at times, and the fact that perhaps if he'd kicked a few more of those goals where he had opportunities, that Knox might have got over the line in some of those really close games. I don't know whether that's Johnny playing his cards very close to his chest or not, but it has given him the option of and the versatility of Ryan Jeffries as playing that forward. Obviously, sides were going to match up on Jared Clark this year after the year he had last year. He was going to get the best defender week in, week out, so perhaps that's also played an influence. Who knows? It's going to be interesting to watch this afternoon and see the way that all pans out.
We might have a couple of Knox guests to chat to very, very soon. We actually might do it on the other side of our first break here on EFL Game Day. Of course, you can text us anytime on 0419 654 082. That's 0419 654 082. If you missed it, that's on page 2 of the Mighty Eastern Footballer today. Very good publication and a very nice article from Dan Senchik. He told me to give that one a little bit of a plug as well. And you can also tweet us at FootyEFL. Dan's actually going to be twittering for us today, so looking forward to seeing his work at FootyEFL. And of course, www.efl.org.au. Whether you're streaming through there or whether you're listening to us on 98.1 Radio Eastern, we do appreciate you tuning in. After the break, let's talk Knox, right here from Knox Gardens Reserve on EFL Game Day.
Hello, this is Peter O'Brien. You're very welcome to join me on Radio Eastern 98.1 every Monday at noon for the Monday Music Showcase, highlighting the best artists both old and new, performing the best songs of all time. At 1:30 p.m. on the program, we feature either an artist of the week or perhaps an interview with a local entertainer. Along with all this, you'll catch up with what's happening in our local area from Radio Eastern's Community File. So there's your invitation. Don't miss it. Radio Eastern 98.1, 12 noon until 2, the Monday Music Showcase.
Now, do you have sudden fever, aching body, sore throat, chills, nausea, headache, dizziness? It sounds like you need medical assistance urgently. It's difficult getting an immediate appointment with your GP when you need care fast. So come to Akira Urgent Care, where you don't need an appointment and you won't have to wait. They are Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Boronia, or phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. Your health, your destiny.
In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name, part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
If you love your EFL footy like I do and you love getting down to see your team play, you don't want to be spending your weekend stuck in the car driving. That's why I opened a Breeze account. Eastlink is the quickest, easiest way to get around Melbourne's east, and Tag's the cheapest way to use Eastlink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au today and use Eastlink in the cheapest possible way with a Tag account. Instead of being stuck behind the wheel, I can have more time getting stuck into the umpire. Ball! Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
The warm-up continues right here on EFL Saturday.
Knox Gardens Reserve is the venue for today's big Division 1 clash between the Falcons of the blue and the red variety. Knox taking on Lilydale here in Division 1. This is EFL Game Day, broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern FM and video streaming live on EFL.org.au. Of course, the EFL Game Day proudly brought to you by the EFL mobile web app. Go to mformother.efl.org.au in your mobile device and press out the home screen for all the latest access to EFL news, media, and of course those score updates which will be given to you by Dan Senchik. He'll be twittering away on Footy EFL, so make sure you get on board with that one. Certainly looking forward to today's broadcast. Benny Warren-Smith will be in calling this game with me after 2 p.m. today, so looking forward to seeing how he goes. Ray, where do you see this game at the moment? I know you've been keeping quite a keen eye over this game over the past couple of days. Where do you see this game, and where it will end come the final siren today?
Look, it was very interesting to hear Simon Rourke say that he would prefer a one-on-one contest. Now that's fair enough for me, but for Lilydale to win this game, I think that if they go that style of play, they've got to be able to run off their players, and I think that their big advantage is they're going to be very tall down forward, Lilydale. I think they'll definitely have the advantage there. So I think that you will find that rather than O'Keefe and that leading out for the ball, I think they will be bombing it to the goal square.
Very interesting to see, and interesting to see how our next guest will try and combat that. Of course, he's a very good friend of ours here on the EFL Media Team, but really by day and night, he is the coach of the Knox Football Club. And let's cross down to him with Damien Watson, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. He's got John Knight.
Thanks very much, Ben. I've got John Knight here in the Knox rooms, mate. Last week, you'll be keen to redeem yourselves this week.
Yeah, absolutely. We were really disappointed with last week. We were right into the game for 3 quarters, and unfortunately, a couple of errors came into our game late, and to Scoresby's credit, they ran over us.
Is it do or die for you this week? I mean, you are 2 games outside the top 5, so it'll be a very crucial game this afternoon.
Oh, it'll be hard for us if we lose today. We definitely think it's a do or die game, so it's a must win for sure.
Good afternoon, Johnny. Ben Waterworth here. Just wondering who are some of the key players for you in this very crucial game this afternoon?
Oh, sorry, Ben, I missed that, mate.
I'm just wondering who some of the key players are for you this afternoon. I know Stephen Aiello's out, so he's a big loss. So who are the players that really need to step up for you guys to get 4 points this afternoon?
Oh, just our leaders, mate, basically. We love the way Willow goes, obviously, in the centre, and Bakesy's been really good through the middle and up forward. Our smalls are generally a real big barometer to us, so we just need to get that run back from a lot of those guys, and the chase down tackles inside 50. It generally sets us up.
Peter Baird here, mate. We had a bit of a chat before with Simon Rourke and about this way he can see this game panning out and the style of footy he would like it to be. How do you try and shut down a side that wants to play attacking footy in Lilydale that kicked 19 goals last year? We obviously know you like to really strangle sides and deprive them of scoring.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely try and make sure that they don't kick 19, put it that way. But we see ourselves as an attacking side. It's just that sometimes our kicking accuracy again's let us down, and some of our forwards just need to go back and kick straight.
Perfect segue, Johnny, because we've spoken ourselves about it here in the start of the show, about the changing roles of Jared Clark this year and whether or not it has been his inaccurate kicking, or whether you're using him in a different role this year that's seen him perhaps as not your main man up forward, and perhaps Ryan Jeffries has taken over that mantle.
Yeah, we just wanted to put him behind the footy because he wasn't finding it for us enough up forward, and he knew that. He missed a little bit of pre-season with work commitments and stuff, so we always know Sammy's got great hands, but Sammy Jeffries is really good for us down back as well. So we threw it around, and Sammy just really presents well, and Clarkie's been doing a role for us down back, so we've kept with it.
Ray Baird here, John. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, Ray. How are you?
Good, mate. Look, I was just looking at your goal kickers for the season. Now, you've got Ryan Jeffries on 21 goals. Now, your next goal kicker goes to Paul Treadway with 7 goals. Do you feel that maybe this year you've been a lot more one-dimensional down forward, or not?
Yeah, well, we've tried to rectify it, but it hasn't come to fruition, unfortunately. But even our midfielders, we just spoke about our meeting today going out, we'd really love more kicking goals from those guys as well, and share it. There's often, we've had games where we've had 9 or 10 goal kickers, so that's a positive, but they just haven't been doing it in multiples, unfortunately. But they just have to, in the next 4 to 6 weeks, to set us up if we're going to go anywhere in this season.
Now, Johnny, we know it's a very stressful time for a coach right now. Peter, you've got one more just for him?
Yeah, Johnny, I just wanted to ask you about, is the team feeling the pressure a little bit more this year, having played finals last year, that perhaps teams have gone out and hunted the Knox Football Club this year, whereas last year you guys were clearly the hunter, going out chasing some of those sides, trying to get that first finals berth in Division 1?
Yeah, there's always that thought process, I suppose, but the best thing about the footy club is that they're young and that they always enjoy the footy. We always have really enjoyable training sessions. I never sort of berate them and get down and dirty because we haven't made we're not in the finals or whatever, but at the same time, it's a really good working environment. The players love coming to training, and we just continue to put the best side out we can, and we know that we're a young side, and we're all about developing them as well. And if we make the finals this year, that'll be fantastic. If we don't, we know that we'll give it a real shake in the next 3 years.
We're certainly looking forward to broadcasting this game, Johnny. We're looking forward to seeing how the Knox Falcons go about their business this afternoon. Thanks for your time. Go marshal those troops, and good luck for today.
Thanks very much, boys. See you later.
There we are. John Knight, the coach of the Knox Football Club, down there with Damien Watson, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. They're a good-looking team, the Knox Falcons. Did you just see the Foss Paul Treadway just making his way out there, Peter Baird? He's looking in pretty good form at the moment.
They've got some pretty good-looking roosters out there for the Knox Footy Club, if I don't say so myself.
What do you think? I reckon their most important player and their best player clearly is Luke Williams, their captain. He's, as I described during the week, one of the most flexible and most versatile players, I think, in the competition. Where do you see him playing today? Does he play in the midfield role, or is he more down back where he can sort of play that loose man, or even play one-on-one with someone like O'Keefe? Where do you think he's best positioned to play today?
I think his best position is when he sets up as that quarterback coming off halfback, and Knox give him that versatility to be able to deliver the ball and use him as their main man coming out of defence. I was very interested, though, to hear Johnny say that he thinks the barometer of his team is through the midfield, and when those guys are really up and about and getting dangerous and going forward, that they're at their best. I reckon it's when they get the ball in the hands of Luke Williams coming out of the half-back line is when they look their best and play their best footy.
Just having a look, Ray, compared to last year, there's a fair few guys that we saw I think we might have called them against Noble Park last year, and there's a fair chunk of this team still together. There's a lot of younger guys, I suppose, with high numbers that we haven't seen together today, but we're going to look forward to see how they go about their business today. Hey, a couple more thoughts from you, Ray, before we get our next few guests in.
Yeah, well, look, over the last couple of seasons, Knox have had very good under-18s and this year under-19. So obviously they're moving some of those players up and, giving them their chance. But one question to you guys, Marcus Hodges, do you think that Johnny Knight's going to run anybody with him?
I don't know. Marcus Hodges has struggled this year. I think we're talking to Father Ron just beforehand, and he'll probably be listening and probably won't appreciate this, but Marcus probably hasn't had his best season to date, and he might admit that in himself. Probably the guy that they might want to tag is probably one of the Breeze boys. I would think probably Daniel Breeze, who's been an outstanding form this year, Pete.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. Even last year, although Lilydale were really good last year, I don't think we saw the best of Marcus Hodges. That's probably pretty harsh on the man because he has set such high expectations, not only on himself, but the way he plays his footy. And before he went over to the WAFL, he was really tearing up Division 1. This year, I don't think he's perhaps been at that top level, and it might be from a bit more attention he's got since coming back up to Division 1. But I think you're right with the Breeze brothers. They're really great players. They're the heart and soul of the Lilydale Football Club. And the other one that I think is a real important player for them today is Ashraf Davey.
Bad to mention him.
We'll be sporting the 9 news dots on his back, playing across half forward. He's a real live wire for them. And if he can get dangerous, that's going to be a huge benefit for Rourke, and his team will go a long way in securing the 4 points for them.
And I know one of your favourite players to watch, of course, is Chris Shaw off halfback. A younger player. He's been named in the best, I think upwards of about 6 times so far this year. He's in fantastic form. Who do you think he goes to today? Is he the kind of guy that plays on a Ryan Jeffrey or a Jared Clark?
Yeah, quite possibly. We'll have to wait and see about the way teams line up. It's interesting to hear Johnny Knight saying he's been used Jared Clark down back a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So it really is going to depend upon matchups, but he's hugely important to that Lilydale side today, Chris Shaw.
Very, very interesting prospect. Lots of interesting matchups. Of course, this is EFL Game Day, proudly brought to you by the EFL mobile web app. Make sure you log on to m.efl.org.au. Chuck that in your mobile device browser, mostly Safari. Chuck it in there. Press Add to Home screen when the pop-up comes up, and you'll get the latest access to EFL news, updates, and of course the latest around the ground scores. And as I said before, Dan Senchik will be twittering away on Twitter there using www.twitter.com/footyefl. Of course, you can text us anytime, wherever you are in the world, on 0419 654 082. That's 0419 654 082. Before we head to a break, or we get our next guest in, not quite sure where we're heading at the moment, but I'll just quickly get a tip and why from you gents at the moment. And starting with you, Ray, who do you think will win this game?
Look, I think it's going to be a very close contest, but look, I like Lilydale. I just think that, as you said before, the Breeze boys, and they got O'Keefe down forward. I think they will bomb the ball into the forward line and exploit Knox's shorter back line. And I think there's not going to be much. I would say 15 points to Lilydale.
Do you think it's going to be that close as well? It's got the shaping of that, especially if it's played on Knox's terms as well. It might be quite a close game.
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself, Ben, that Knox generally don't blow sides out of the water, and they really do like it when it becomes that hard-fought scrap. And who knows, it may turn out that way today. I still find it very difficult to go past Knox, and I know discussing it with my father earlier today, we got into a bit of an argument about the way this game might turn out. I'm sticking with Knox. I don't think they've got too much to play for. That window of opportunity for them to play finals will close if they lose this game. And I think that is a huge incentive and initiative for a team to go out there and put their best foot forward. And I think you'll see the best of the Knox Footy Club this afternoon.
Oh, looking forward to it. If that's the case, Knox at their best are a very, very good team to watch. And I think not last week, but the 2 weeks beforehand, I think they showed that. So hopefully they can put on that form today. Hopefully it's just a good game, full stop. Let's take our second break here on EFL Game Day. After the break, hopefully we'll be talking to the Knox president, and we'll go through all the other games around the Eastern Football League. This is EFL Game Day on 98.1 Radio Eastern FM, and of course streaming on efl.org.au. EFL Game Day, proudly brought to you by the EFL mobile web app. Plenty more action after the break, right here on EFL Game Day.
Hi, this is Graham Lake. If you like relaxing music over lunch, then every Tuesday, tune in to the Tuesday Lunch Spot between 11 and 1 I will be your host with Joan Basford taking the chair every fourth week. We look forward to your company. That's every Tuesday between 11 and 1.
Now, what do you do when you have a medical emergency? Public emergency departments do a great job, but are always busy and often have long waiting times. Private hospitals charge you $280 and more for additional services. But at Care Urgent Care, there is no waiting, and you'll only pay a maximum of $150 out of pocket, which includes other diagnostic services you may need. So, which option should you choose? Care Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Boronia, or phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. Your health, your destiny.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCTE 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
In desperate need for some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name, part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
20% makes a lot of difference. Imagine your team kicking 20% less goals and being 20% behind on the scoreboard. Actually, let's not. Now, imagine using a Breeze Tag account on Eastlink and getting a 20% discount on all weekend car trips. No need to imagine, it's for real. Open your account online at eastlink.com.au and get 20% off car trips all weekend, every weekend on Eastlink. Now, let's give my mate Ross 20% more stick for being 4 goals behind. Hey, Roscoe! Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
The warm-up continues right here on EFL Saturday.
Yes, EFL Game Day is the home of Eastern Football League action today, whether you are anywhere throughout the world or you're just around the eastern suburbs. It is such a magnificent day. I don't think we've had a day like this for quite some time. It's been pretty rotten and wet and windy weather over the past couple of weeks, but we've been spoiled to a fantastic day today. Gentlemen, let's start. We are expecting Lee Methol, the coach of Knox, very shortly, but he's just hosting a luncheon, which I understand Rob Sharp and Phil Merton are at. So it must be a very, very big luncheon, Frosty.
It is, actually. I looked on the Knox website before I came out here today. It's actually a very good initiative that Knox actually do. It's their scoreboard luncheon, they call it.
Scoreboard luncheon.
What they do is they raffle off at $220 a ticket, advertising rights for their scoreboard for next year. So you can buy a ticket into that raffle for the chance to your business to be on their scoreboard for next year. So it gives everybody that opportunity, and part of that's obviously a big luncheon they have today. So a fantastic initiative there from the Knox Footy Club. We might speak to Lee a little bit about that a little bit later.
Should be a great lunch. Hopefully we'll get have a quick word with him. But let's start looking at Division 4 action, gents, with Park Orchards taking on South Belgrave out there at Domini Reserve today. I don't think South Belgrave will have too many problems today, Pete.
No, I don't think they will, but I think they might just need to be aware of the fast leg speed of the Park Orchard side. That's something that's caught a few sides out unawares this year. Although they're a very young team, they do play Domini Reserve very, very well. So South Belgrave, having never been out there before, will need to be aware of that. But I think the Saints are in red-hot form at the moment. David Bilston's having a great year for them. They've got Kane Jeffries, who's slotted in very nicely. Anthony Willenberg's been a fantastic pickup. So the Saints should win that one and should win convincingly.
Yeah, look, time for South Belgrave to go to Park Orchards. It will be unfamiliar to them, and I think that Park Orchards may stick with them for half a game, but South Belgrave will definitely win.
I agree with you there, Ray, in terms of Park Orchards sticking with them for a half. Surrey Park taking on Forest Hill. Forest Hill need to get a big percentage boost today if they want to try and squeeze into that top 5.
They do, but I don't know, the more I think about this game, Surrey Park are going to catch a team unawares this year.
No.
I'm not convinced about Forest Hill just yet. And we saw Park Orchards stick with them, and they only went down very narrowly in a radio game out at Domini Reserve earlier in the year. Yes. It has me thinking that if Surrey Park had their worst performance of the year last week, don't get me wrong. Speaking with Coach Andrew Toop during the week, he's identified that, and perhaps the 3 or 4 steps forward they took throughout the building throughout this year, they probably took 6 back last week in that game against Ferntree Gully. He will have them red hot. They've got a few players coming back. Stranger things have happened, Ben Waterworth.
Right,
I'm still sticking with Forest Hill, but stranger things have happened.
No, I don't know what you're on, Pete, but I don't want any of it, that's for sure. Now, look at Forest Hill. I mean, they're 15% behind Eastern Lions.
Surrey Park Reserve.
They're Forest Hill 15% behind Eastern Lions on the ladder on the same amount of wins, so they have to get a big percentage booster, and I think today's going to be that day for that.
And you mentioned the Eastern Lions as well. They take on Ferntree Gully. The Eastern Lions, Ferntree Gully and Forest Hill are 5th, 6th and 7th respectively. We could know a lot more about the final makeup of Division 4 come the end of today, and this will have a big bearing on it this game. Eastern Lions or Ferntree Gully for yours, Pete?
Ferntree Gully for mine. Surely Darren Murphy can't play. He's been out for 2 weeks
with
an appendicite, having his appendix removed, going under the surgeon's knife. Name back in the side this week. Surely he can't play.
Well, Jason Wellard, president of the Eastern Lions, came into the offices yesterday and was confident that he was going to play.
Well, that's a huge
he's
shot
a good
in the
player
arm for the Eastern Lions, and their form slump, coincidentally, has been in those games where he hasn't played. So they've lost those games. Before that, they were sitting 3rd on the ladder. If he plays, if he's at his best, who knows? It'll bring the Eastern Lions back in the contention, but I can't see it. I'm sticking with Ferntree Gully.
No, look, I'm going to go with Ferntree Gully, coming off of 21 goals last week, a huge win. Okay, they played the bottom side, Surrey Park, but Eastern Lions, as you said, they've dropped off the heat.
Kilsyth taking on Canterbury. Very interesting game, of course, after the week's proceedings with Tony Rowe and Canterbury parting ways. With that, I thought Canterbury were going to win this game nonetheless, but I think that'll give them that extra motivation to win now. You're smiling.
I'm going to watch what I say in regards to this one. I have spoken with the former coach of the Canterbury Football Club this week.
So have
I. Some of the things he's told me about some of the going-ons down at Canterbury, and the word social football club were used. So I don't know. It is their opportunity today to perhaps prove that it's not the playing group. It might have been some of Tony's the way he's managed the football team this year. I still think Kilsyth are going to be way too strong for them, and I think it's going to prove that perhaps the Canterbury Football Club need to look more at the playing group than the coach.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go for Kilsyth in this one. Sometimes when sides lose their coach, they step up, but look, I just think Kilsyth, irrespective of Canterbury losing their coach, I think Kilsyth, if they've got Jamie Ockwell and Jordan Channel down there, if they can kick some goals, and they've been in pretty good form over the last few weeks, I think Kilsyth will win.
Peter Baird beautifully on the back foot there. Very nicely played by good self. Sylvan taking on the base, and now you are all over the Cats bandwagon at the moment, Peter Baird. Can they knock off the all-conquering Bears today?
They can. I've got no doubt about that. They can.
Wow.
Whether it happens or not is another question. I know I'm sitting on the fence. I probably sat on the fence 3 or 4 times already in the 4 games we've done.
It's a large fence. Yes.
And it needs a bit of reinforcement, don't worry if I'm sitting on it. But in this one here, I'm still going to stick with the Basin. I think Sylvan will be right in this one, up to their eyeballs. I don't expect the Basin to blow them away. I think perhaps a 2-goal win at most.
Be a great game if it's 2 goals, Ray.
Yeah, look, it would be a great game. Look, I think that Sylvan, they've got to be competitive. They don't really have to win this game, but as long as they're competitive within, say, 4 goals at the end of the day, and then that would boost their confidence coming into the finals, that's no doubt.
Looking forward to seeing how many goals Ash Froud has to his name come the end of today as well.
I think the other big thing for Sylvan, for them to be really competitive, some of their top-line players have to have great games for them to be really in it. And that includes Froud, it includes Newing, it includes Cullen, both. Perhaps their 2 most important are the 2 Toohey brothers, Dan Toohey and Sean Toohey. Dan Toohey needs to be that big forward option, and Sean Toohey needs to get plenty of it through the midfield. If that happens, they're going to be right in this game. Don't worry about that.
And there's one player that we never seem to mention. That's their captain-coach up at Sylvan, Chris Goodlett. Now, he musters that half-back line there, and we don't give him many accolades.
I don't think he's been playing much recently anyway. It's been more of that coaching role, but he's got really galvanised his team together, and I think they've got a belief that they can match And today's their test. If they can, well, go out and prove it this afternoon, boys, because I've backed you. And if you want my support continually going forward, you need to be on your best foot today.
As per usual, Peter Baird making it all about himself. And Nunawading have the bye, of course. Now let's have a look at Division 3. Clearly game of the round is Heathmont taking on Boronia. I think you said on the Friday preview, Pete, just do or die for Heathmont. They need to win this game today.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Neither
I think Boronia's backline is too strong, they've just gelled
Too
together
organised.
so well. They are. They've just got the structures there. I think they'll be able to shut down Darren Sheen and Lee Odermatt, and I think that's the barometer for Heathmont. If you do shut them down, then they really do struggle. Their midfield's great when you've got guys like Hickey and Kevin Clark and those guys that go through there. But if they can't kick that winning score, and they are very Sheen conscious, and I think Boronia have got the answers to stop that.
As you said, Pete, look, Boronia, I feel that they've got probably one of the best back six in the whole third division. And as you said, they've got the power to shut down those power forwards for Heathmont. I'm going to pick Boronia.
Big game for Churnside Park today. They just need to bounce back. They need a win to get some confidence, but I don't think they're going to get it against Ringwood today. Their steam train's rolling along very, very nicely.
Yeah, it's turned around for the Ringwood Football Club this year. They've been one of the surprises after their slow start. I'm going to stick with Ringwood in this one. I think that Churnside Park have gone cold. They've lost 5 on the trot now.
Freezer style.
And the Panthers are adaptable, but not our Churnside Park Panthers this year. And their problem has been getting consistent performances week in, week out from their players. No, it's the only club in the Eastern Football League where not one single player has been named in their best in more than half their games. So that really shows that they can't string performances together week in, week out. And Brett Davidson just needs the top line players from the Churnside Park Footy Club to be at their best every week, not just every second or third game. Yeah,
look, I'm going to go for Ringwood in this one. With Heathmont and Wanturna South breathing down their neck there, they can't afford to drop a game. And as you said, look, Churnside Park, they were not impressive last week, so I'm going to go for Ringwood.
Mitcham taking on the Glen Waverley Hawks. Mitcham have really struggled over the past month and a half, and I think they're going to have a tough time against the Glen Waverley Hawks today, who are in ripping form.
They are. They're 7 on the trot now for the Glen Waverley Hawks. They're just going from strength to strength, and they're starting to get that belief in themselves that they are good enough to match it with anybody in Division 3. They're equal ladder leaders, and I think they'll do a bit of a job today on Mitcham out at Walker Park. The small ground might suit the way the Glen Waverley Hawks play as well. They love that free-flowing, attacking brand of footy. And when they can move it so quickly from end to end, normally even on big grounds, out at the smaller confines of Walker Park, sorry, Mitcham Footy Club, but I think you might be in for a tough day at the office today.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go for Glen Waverley Hawks. Look, they're just going to be too big, too strong and too good.
South taking on Warrandyte. We heard Davo last week, coach of Churnside Park, say that Warrandyte could be a bit of a sneaky chance, not to make the finals, but just to surprise a few of these top teams towards the end of the year. They've got a good opportunity against Wanturna South today. I don't think they'll do it because the Devils are coming and could play Division 3 finals this year. I emphasise could.
I think they will play Division 3 finals this year, Ben. They've started to build. They had a lot of injuries at the start of the year. Those guys are returning to the fold for the Devils. They're just gaining some momentum again. Warrandyte had a great win last week against the Whitehorse Pioneers. It was a big day down at the Warrandyte Footy Club.
Large day.
But I think they'll be brought back to earth this week, and I think Wanting South will have a quite impressive win.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go for Wanturna South. Look, Warrandyte were very good last week, but Wanturna South, a lot of people around the traps are saying that if they can get into that final 5, they're going to give it a shake. And look, I think that's the way they're going to go too.
Well, of course, they came down from Division 2, so there's certainly no pushovers after coming down from Division 2. So hopefully, for their sake and for Matt Clark's sake, they can have a good second half to the season. North Ringwood taking on Coldstream, first versus bottom. Big uh-oh here, Peter Baird.
I think you said it beautifully yesterday on the Friday preview, Ben Waterworth. Uh-oh. And not only are they first versus bottom in Division 3, the top side's lost their last 2 games, and North Ringwood don't lose games in Division 3 throughout the home and away season over the last few years. Coldstream might be coming up against a team with a bit of an attitude today, who might be looking to take it out on that Cougars side, and North Ringwood, this one might get ugly.
Look, I agree with everything you boys said, and then you got to add to it, of course, home ground advantage also. North Ringwood always hard to beat at Quamby. Look, I think that's going to be a huge blowout.
It's certainly a big trouble down there from Arctic Park. In the final game in Division 3, Whitehorse Pioneers and Templestowe. Templestowe, one of the hottest teams in Division 3. I think the Dockers will win today.
Yeah, I really like the way the Dockers have been building. They're with Kane Magames playing a bit of a different role. 7 goals last week. We've seen how good he can be through the midfield for them. Going forward, they've still got Paul Eccles up there. They've got Alistair Quinn joining the club this year. They've just got that improvement that you need to add every year to go up the ladder. And I think they're one of the teams to beat this year in Division 3, and I think they'll have a convincing win.
As you said, Templestowe, they're going along very nicely. And the Pioneers, they were very disappointing last week. They finished up with 5 goals for the game, but only had 2 at three-quarter time. Yeah, that sort of form certainly not going to get them over the line.
Thank you very much, boys. Division 3 and 4 done and dusted, but it's time to welcome our next guest into the EFL Game Day caravan. And we're mentioning it before. BWS just texted me beforehand, said that he was doing some very nice hosting MC style work beforehand, and it was obviously a big luncheon going on out there today. And it must be big if Rob Sharp and Phil Merton have been able to make an appearance out here. Mertz was just sort of making himself known. Good on him. But it's a very good afternoon to the Knox president, Lee Methol.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Ben.
Lee, tell us about this luncheon. Pete was sort of giving us a little bit of information beforehand because he read the newsletter before he got here. But big day for you guys today.
Yeah, look, every year, Ben, we do a raffle for what we call the scoreboard lunch, which under our major scoreboard here at the grounds, our largest sign writing area, and we have a luncheon, and the winner of the raffle gets the scoreboard position for the whole 12 months. So both for the cricket club and for the football club, which are very heavily connected, work very close together. So every year this has gone on for about the last 5 years.
It's a nice spot out there, the scoreboard, isn't it?
It certainly is. And have you drawn that raffle yet today, Lee?
No, I'll be going in straight after this to draw the raffle. So they want me back straight away, so they know who the winner is.
Now, Lee, I just want to ask you about, I had a look on your website, and there's quite a elaborate 5-year plan that the football club's got from 2009 to 2013, and where you want to see this football club going. How are you tracking, and what are some of those major objectives that are within that plan?
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Look, obviously our first objective from a football position is always to obviously remain in Division 1, and we had a plan that once we made Division 1 was to solidify our position and then start to move up. Of course, last year we had probably an exceptional year, probably one that we weren't expecting, to making the finals. It's been tough this year. Well, I think we've probably been very fortunate. Last year we had, I think, only one injured player. I think before the Queen's birthday round we had 21 senior players unavailable through injury. So it's been a little bit of a tougher year, but we certainly want to continue to play finals, and obviously the ultimate goal, by about 2013, we think, with the sort of group we've got. So next year we're obviously setting our sights to maybe win the premiership. It's a big statement, but we'd like to be there. If it's not 2013, then in the next 2 or 3 years we see a great window of opportunity for the club.
Ray Baird, League.
Yes, Ray.
Look, what I wanted to ask you was this 5-year plan. Now, don't read anything into this question, but you have a good relationship with the Knox Council because the ground's looking really good.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Look, the council and Knox have always had a good relationship. I mean, we always want councils to do more, and they do their very best for us. But the ground is looking a lot better than what it was several years ago, as people remembered playing down here, and all where the surface was put in, and they continue to do work around the ground. It's obviously a big investment for the council, so they look after the ground as best they can, and with the help of both the football and the cricket club, we have continued to put money into it ourselves to continue to develop the facility, and that's in partnership. And look, yeah, certainly we have no complaints with the council. In fact, we thank them for their efforts constantly.
And I notice now that you have a permanent fence around the perimeter of the ground, so was that something that the council did or the football club?
No, that was the football club with council permission, but yeah, that was something we needed to do to go forward.
And Lee, I just wanted to ask you about the coach, Johnny Knight, and a lot's been spoken about the way he's brought this team together as a group and lifted you up the ladder. How do you perceive that, and what are your thoughts on what John Knight's brought to this football club?
John's brought a tremendous amount. He's an exceptional individual. He's a teacher by trade and he's a teacher by coach, and he's brought together a game plan and a discipline to the club that suits our players. We're obviously not a team that has huge amount of funding to go out and attract players to the club like others can, but what we had was a good group and a good dedicated group of juniors that came through over the years. From that 2007 grand final we won, that was all junior players, and basically he's developed the juniors, but he's brought a game style that suits our playing group, and it's been successful last year and continues to be successful. We can't thank or speak highly enough of John.
And Leah Footy Club wouldn't run without some of its great volunteers, and the volunteers behind the barbecue, may I say, are doing a fantastic job. Who are the kids and the folks behind there?
The couple of kids we've got behind there are, again, kids from family members of the club, and they took up the challenge a couple of years ago. We asked them to do the barbecue. It's always hard to find people to do the
Yes.
barbecue every week, so we incentivised a couple of kids to do it, and they've taken to it duck like water, and our barbecue's never been better.
It's look, the setup down there is amazing. If you're at Knox today, make sure you go get one. It's looking fantastic. Lee, we do appreciate you coming out of the luncheon to come have a chat with us. Go draw that raffle out now, and good luck for today.
Terrific, Ben. Thanks very much for your time.
No worries. Lee Methol, the president of the Knox Football Club, certainly do appreciate his time. Gentlemen, let's have a look at the rest of the games around the Eastern Football League today. Division 2 and Division 1. Huge game. Bayswater taking on Mooroolbark. And I tell you what, Pete, you mounted a very good case for Bayswater on the Friday preview this week.
I like Bayswater in this game, and I'm going to stick with the Waters. I think they can knock off Mooroolbark. We've seen 3 times already this year that the team that's been sitting on top of the Division 2 ladder has been knocked off its perch and been defeated to fall outside that top 2. I think it may happen today. Bayswater need to sacrifice a little bit of their scoring power, though, to do it, and perhaps send Brent Jane, who's been one of their key forwards, back to pick up big kid Talevsky.
Which I think is going to happen.
I think that's going to be a thing that Neil Winston really needs to do. I think Joel Galvin and Wayne McInerney, Galvin through the midfield and McInerney as that small forward, perhaps they've got some bits of their game that might catch Mooroolbark out of wares a little bit. They also need to be very careful in shutting down Mike Smith, who's in great form at the moment for the Mustangs.
Your boyfriend?
You
love him.
I love the way he goes about his business.
Yes.
He's hard and he's tough, and he's probably got the strongest core strength you'll see of any player going in Division 2. And we saw him in Division 1 when he won a best and fairest with the Lilydale Football Club, who we're watching this afternoon. And he's a class footballer, and they need to be very careful in shutting him down. But having said that, out at Bayswater Oval, earlier in the year when they played at Mooroolbark, I believe at Bayswater Oval, Mooroolbark were really struggling against the Waters at half-time, only to get their game going in that last second half. This week, I think they might catch Mooroolbark sleeping again and might be record a win. I'm going to tip Bayswater.
Look, I think it's going to be a close game, boys. And Pete, you mentioned about Brett Jones going back
Brett
on to
Jane.
I personally hope they don't do that, because I believe that if Bayswater's going to win this game, they've got to focus on kicking a winning score. On the wide spaces of the Bayswater Oval, I think they've got to run the ball quick into the forward line, and I would love to see a guy like Jones, who's kicking a lot of goals this year, down there, and McInerney as well. And I think that's the only way Bayswater's would beat Mooroolbark today, by keeping those guys there and kicking a huge score. But I think Mooroolbark will get over the line.
Bayswater Secretary Dale Rowe did come into the offices yesterday to pick up his records, Peter Baird, and he did. I asked him what they're going to do with Brent Jane, and his hunch was that he was going to play back on Kit Talevsky. So what they do need is a big guy to actually just bring the ball to ground for McInerney to do his work. I think if they can find that big guy, they might be a bit of a shot, but Mooroolbark...
Bryce Galvin might be the answer there.
Could be. He could kick goals himself. He's a class player, Bryce Galvin. He's on a VFL list. Doncaster taking on Rowville, gentlemen. Of course, your beloved Rowville. I don't think Rowville have too many issues today, Ray.
No, look, I don't know, Ben, because it depends which Rowville come to play. I mean, if the Rowville that played against Donvale the other week come to play, no way, no, they will get over the line. But look, having seen them last week, they were fantastic all over the ground in every position, and they're going to be too strong.
Yeah, I agree. I think Rowville will have too much class for Doncaster. I think a big loss out of that side is Ewan McKenzie from the Doncaster side. That was an area they possibly could have exploited. Rowville don't have that really big ruckman, and with Gav Willoughby missing this week with an ankle injury, that's another big that's out of that Rowville team. So I still think they'll have too much class for Doncaster and should have a good win.
On the Friday preview, you guys mentioned the battle between Anarchus and Matty Stanley. I think that'll be a great, but I just think Matty Stanley will have too many other midfielders there for support.
Spoken like a true Rowville supporter, and your first comment there, Ray. Thanks very much for that. We've got about 5 minutes to run through the remaining...
Just before we move on from that game, congratulations to Rowville captain Robbie McEwen, who's playing his 150th senior game today for the Rowville Football Club.
Might be a little bit of sort of material going in next week's record. Watch out for that one. Very, very nice material. Crunch game for Doncaster East and Donvale today. Season could be over for particularly Doncaster East if they lose today, Pete.
Yeah, I think Dan Senchik on the Friday preview labelled it as a mini-final, and I think that's a perfect analogy for this game. The winner probably stakes their claim for that 4th spot in Division 2. The loser probably starts thinking about next year. I think Doncaster East might surprise Donvale. There's Jack Purcell's missing from that Donvale side. I didn't see his name listed there in the selected teams this week, and that actually goes a long way for me in tipping Donny East, and for that reason I'm going to go with the Lions.
Look, having seen Donvale, as I said, against Rowville the other week, and Doncaster East, I've seen them as well. Look, I think that Donvale will get this one.
Montrose taking on Mulgrave today. Montrose would be out for revenge after last weekend's loss, you'd think.
I don't think too much needs to be said about this game. Montrose will have a good win and they'll be too strong.
Yeah, I'll go with that too, boys. Montrose.
Waverley Blues hosting Upper Ferntree Gully, the final game in Division 2. Waverley Blues could cause a bit of an upset today, Pete.
Yeah, I like the Blues in this one. I think they're big forwards, Hartfield and Marnie and those guys are doing really well. And I think against Upper Ferntree Gully, they've fallen off the pace a little bit, and they seem to drop their heads if sides get a little bit of a run on against them. And I just think the Waverley Blues might be able to do that and exploit that at Mount Waverley Reserve. I'm going to tip the Blues.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go for Waverley Blues. Upper Gully, they've certainly gone off the boil. Something's gone wrong there. But Waverley Blues, I just think they'll be too strong. And I think they're going to have a big say in shaping the finals for there.
It's probably a very fair call. They're a good side, the Waverley Blues. For all those interested, Knox in the reserves have... they actually just changed the scoreboard, but they've won pretty convincingly in the end. A very accurate 9-1-65 to Lilydale, 5-5-35. Right on to the Falcons. Division 1, South Croydon taking on Vermont. How the heck does South Croydon... Peter MacArthur yesterday. I saw him yesterday. Our very own Peter MacArthur said, how did they take the top team on the ladder to 2 points and then lose by 50 points to the bottom team on the ladder? Gee, football's a funny game. Unfortunately, though, Vermont, they're in form. They'll win today, surely.
Vermont are just going from strength to strength. The sleeping giant has awoken. Check out Frosty's thermometer in this week's edition of The Record. Fantastic read. Vermont, they're a class football side at the moment, and they're starting to play like the Vermont sides of old. It must be so disappointing for South Croydon at the moment. They've had a number of credible losses. Last week was a disappointing loss. I don't think they can recover in the space of a week, and Vermont will just blow them away, I believe. And this one might be Vermont's chance to stake a claim for a bit of a percentage booster.
Ooh. And look, at last week, Vermont only having 3 goal kickers and kicking 13 goals. I think they're going to have a lot more goal kickers this week, and I think they're going to win this one easily. Very
impressive victory last weekend by the Eagles, as was Croydon's victory against South Croydon last weekend, as was Scoresby's against Knox. But Scoresby take on Croydon today. I think Scoresby will have a pretty comfortable win. Croydon will come back down to earth.
Sorry, Pete. Look, I think that the big clash in this game is going to be Rudy Falovic back to a bit of form for Croydon last week.
Yes.
He was named in their best players against Big Van Ruin.
Yes.
But I think Scoresby will get over the line.
I think you can sum it up quite simply this game. It's going to be thud as Croydon come back to earth as they play the Magpies this week. It's going to be one of the biggest thuds you'll ever see because Scoresby are a class side. They've proven it for so long, and I think they'll enjoy their day against Croydon this afternoon.
We'll make sure that we'll get the penetrometer reading, not the penetrometer, the earthquake reader for that one, Peter Bear. Blackburn taking on East Berwick. Gee, two of the most disappointing sides in 2012. Big game for these two sides. I think they're both out of the finals race. Surely East Burwood bounce back today, Pete.
Oh, I don't know. We've seen it the last 2 years of East Burwood jumping out of the blocks in Division 1, really setting the pace and then falling away dramatically. Last year they rallied in the second half of the year and only just missed finals. This year their fall from grace has been a little bit more dramatic. They've lost 5 on the trot. I just think Blackburn, they've surprised a few teams. They beat Vermont out at Vermont. I just think they can have a win today against East Burwood.
Yeah, look, there's only one game separating these two on the ladder, boys, but I think that East Burwood, they have to win this game.
They surely will. Knox taking on Lilydale, of course, is our broadcast game that's kicking off in 10 minutes' time. Knox boys are already out, having a bit of a kick in the warm-up. East Ringwood taking on Noble Park. Noble Park will be out for some revenge. I think they'll get this one quite easily out there at Mount Dandenong Road.
Yeah, Noble Park lost 2 games in a row earlier in the year, and it's the first time that's happened for a couple of years. I can't see them dropping another one in a row this week. I'm tipping the Bulls. I don't tip against them very often, and I'm sticking with them this week. Noble Park should have a win.
Yeah, I'll go along with that too, boys. Noble Park too strong.
And unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I would have loved to have given this game a little bit more coverage. It's 1v2 in Division 1. Norwood taking on Balwyn. A couple of people down at Norwood, I saw the club notes come through. The most important game in the club's history. That is a huge, huge statement. I'm thinking that I think Balwyn will be able to get a victory. They've got a bit too much class for mine.
Yeah, I just think Balwyn have got too many answers at the moment for Norwood. One area that I thought Norwood may have been able to exploit Balwyn was in the ruck, but last week we saw the return of Nick Smith. He's named at full forward this week for Balwyn. So that's an interesting selection there. He's got Luke Barker beside him in the forward pocket, so I'll be very keen to see whether they line up that way. I think Balwyn needs to use him in the ruck to combat John O'Wynn. I just think Balwyn's midfield, they're so much bigger bodies than what Norwood have got, and I think they can exploit that. Guys like McMahon, Hendry, Gilchrist going through there.
Right.
So Baldwin are a class football side, and I really like them this afternoon.
Yeah, look, Norwood have been very good up to this stage, up there in the top two on the ladder. But look, Baldwin, I just think they're going to have too much experience, and as Pete said, bigger bodies and a little bit more class.
Agree with you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your work in the pre-match. Sorry to cut you short in Division 1 there, but we have to head to our final break before we get this game underway. Knox taking on Lilydale in the big Division 1 clash right here on EFL Game Day. Whether you're listening to us on 98.1 FM or streaming live through efl.org.au, we do appreciate you tuning in. On the other side of this, it's Knox and Lilydale on EFL Game Day.
Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name. Part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. #1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
In footy, the best players always get tagged. In Melbourne, the best and cheapest way to get around the tollways is to get your car tagged. That's because a Breeze account works on Eastlink and it works on CityLink too. A tag's also the cheapest way to use Eastlink and CityLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au and start winning as a tagger today. Speaking of winning, my team's a sure thing for 4 points today and maybe the premiership. Come on up, that was in the back. Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor.
Every club expects high performance from their team. At Ferntree Gully Holden, you'll find the latest high-performance vehicles in the HSV range, and the team will give you the best possible deal. So if you're looking for a high-performance HSV, look no further than Ferntree Gully Holden, Burwood Highway, Ferntree Gully, for a great deal, or visit www.ftgmotor.com.au. Ferntree Gully Holden, your community dealer. LMCT 443, a proud supporter of the Eastern Football League and Radio Eastern.
EFL Saturday, it's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Big day out at Knox Gardens Reserve. It's Knox taking on Lilydale in a crunch game for these two sides out in Division 1. Thanks to Simon Rourke, to Knox coach John Knight, and of course to the Falcons president of the Red Variety, I should say, Lee Methol, for their time in pre-match. Obviously a big day for both of these clubs, and we're looking forward to bringing you a call of this one. I'll be calling today's action along with today's host. He's very, very excited about this game. We're in a ripper spot as well out here at Knox Gardens Reserve. BWS, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to Ben Waterworth and all our Radio Eastern listeners and EFL lovers. It's a beautiful day. Finally, the sun's come out in the morning, and it's actually hung around till after lunchtime. So, looking forward to a good game today. The ground looks pretty dry, but it should make way for some really good footy.
Certainly looking forward to this one, and it's a ripping day. There's barely a cloud in the sky. We've been blessed with an absolutely gorgeous day today, and what we might do now is actually head down to our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders. We've both heard from them in the pre-match today, but they've been blessed with a very good day, very different to the one they had last weekend out there at Chirnside Park. Let's cross down to Damien Watson, thanks to Akira Urgent Care, for a ground report.
Thanks very much, Betty. We are expecting to be bathed in sunshine throughout the remainder of the afternoon here at Knox Gardens Reserve, with a maximum temperature of around 13 degrees as this morning's fog and frost has eased as the day has worn on. The surface is also looking relatively pristine here, so it should be a fantastic day out here at Knox Gardens Reserve, and hopefully a close contest as well.
Thank you very much to Damien Watson, our boundary side, doing a good work with the interviews beforehand, coming through crystal clear, and it was great to have John Knight and Simon Rourke join us down from in the rooms. That worked out nicely.
What do you make of that, Benny? Because we heard, and we made mention of it, Simon Rourke saying they want to play a one-on-one style of game against Knox. Now, I would have thought that would have played into Knox's hands because they like to chip the ball around, they like to hold on possession, they like to have a bit of a low-scoring kind of game. What do you make of that?
Well, I don't know, because Knox have been kicking some decent scores over the last 3 weeks or so. So which type of game plan they're going to come out and play today? They might be trying to trick sides each week, and depending on who they're coming up against. I think you could hear in John Knight's voice that they're out to attack this game today. They've got a big crowd. They've got a luncheon on. They were mentioning of some future big games coming up against the likes of Vermont and other sides, which really are going to be some huge matches for the club who have come all the way up to Division 1. So I think that they're ready just to step it up today, and I think that I think they'll get the win. I think Lilydale will be right in, and I'm really excited to be down here because Lilydale, haven't they impressed in the last couple of weeks, and we finally get to have a squiz at them after probably watching 4 or 5 games of them last year. Lilydale were a little bit spoiled, to see how they can adjust to Division 1 this year. But going back to your question of which way it's going to be played, I don't think anyone's going to give too much away when they talk to us anyway. They usually don't. Yeah. So we'll maybe even just think the opposite, because who knows what's going to play out today. The first 10 minutes will be quite telling though.
So certainly looking forward to seeing, as you said, the start of the game will go a long way to determining how this one goes. Peter Baird, we heard from you pre-match, but where do you see this one going?
As I said, it's going to be a really riveting contest, and I think you're right on the money, boys, with the way they line up at the start. It's going to give a lot away as to how this game's going to go. I think that Knox, as I said, they're going to be too strong for Lilydale today. I think it's going to be a ripper contest, and a lot hinges upon the influence that those two Breeze boys have. Daniel and Ryan, they both need to have big games today, and to try and really take it up to this Knox side.
13 goal kickers was last
11,
weekend.
11 individual goal kickers.
That's
for
amazing.
Lilydale.
That's a great effort by them. So they'll be out to make way again. We welcome a man back to the broadcast day who's been on a little bit of a hiatus over the last month. Sometimes he's got bigger and better things to do on a Saturday afternoon, but we love having him back, and he sits in his usual position today, giving us all the match stats thanks to Choose Tap, Yarra Valley Water. Good afternoon to you, Grant Campbell.
Good afternoon, VWS. And if you came out here looking for a high-scoring match, you're probably at the wrong venue. They're two of the bottom three scoring sides. Knox average 67 points a game, Lilydale 74. A big reason for that is they're the two most inaccurate sides. Lilydale converting at 45.1%, Knox at 43.6%. So it'll be imperative today that the sides kick a lot better, and when they get their limited chances, they actually take them.
Thank you very much to Grant Campbell. It's always nice to have him in the caravan alongside us, bringing us some Goldie. Hopefully he's available for EFL Sunday. I haven't asked him that yet, but let's quickly get the tips from the boys down a boundary side. We know we heard him in pre-match, but people may have just tuned in. Let's go to Damo. What's your tip today, mate?
He's not here, but he just told me that he was going to pick Knox, boys, and I'm going with Lilydale.
Okay, so they're going against each other on boundary side. It'll be Ben Waterworth to take us away today. Who's your tip, mate?
Knox, only because they just have to win this game to stay in the finals race, and if they lose, they get right behind, don't they, Pete?
And Peter Baird's a fan of Knox, and so am I. Ben Waterworth, take us away.
Interesting to note that Luke Williams is starting in the middle of the ground as well. We're underway here at Knox Gardens Reserve, and it's Lilydale who push out towards the broadcast wing. No one able to quite take clean possession, but it's Joel McGowan who looks to get the first touch. There's Ryan Jeffrey. Gets a little dinky hand pass over the top looking for a few players, but it's intercepted there by Grant Hill. He quickly moves it on, and up half forward, a mark's being taken here by Daniel Breeze. We spoke about him pre-game. He looks for a lead inside 50, and the mark's been taken by Nick Sargent, who came out, and it took the mark 40 metres out, tight angle. But if he's a left-footer, it would suit well. I don't know if he's a left or right footer, but he's got a good opportunity to get Lilydale off to the perfect start, Frosty.
Certainly was. And the way that Knox overused the ball there by hand probably cost them a little bit, because as soon as Lilydale got possession, they were quick on their bikes and moving the ball forward, and that's what caught the Knox defenders out.
Nick Sargent's already kicked 2 goals for season 2012. Can he add to his tally? Comes in on the right foot, looks all right off the boot. Nick Sargent puts through the first one for the Lilydale Footy Club. Big start for the Falcons of the blue and gold variety. They are 1 straight 6, not yet to score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Played a minute in the first term, Peter Baird. Great start.
It certainly is, and something that Knox will need to watch is you can't let Daniel Breeze have space like that he had then. They looked for him as soon as they turned the ball over from Knox, and as soon as they got it to him, he was playing on straight away, got the ball to Nick Sargent, and that's a great start there from Lilydale. They're going to look to try and move that ball as quickly as they can and catch out that Knox press before they have time to set up.
First score on the board to the Lilydale Falcons. They get a centre clearance again as they strive the ball forward. Held up in the middle of the square. The umpire's going to come in and restart this, so it's just forward of centre for Lilydale. Good start by them. Only a couple of minutes into this game. Rucks go at it again. We'll give that tap down to Healy. Went to nobody. Ground level, just trying to squeeze a possession out. Series of handballs went from Davis, found a teammate. Lilydale still trying to push the ball forward. Williams getting down low. That was good play. Quick kick on the left boot by Bakes. Bounced favourably for Knox up towards half forward. Quickly tackled there for Lilydale was Power, brought to ground. The umpire said we're going to let this one go. It's paddled towards the boundary line, and the Falcons of the blue variety are going to move the ball forward through. Breeze of the Ryan variety kicks it up towards half forward, cutting across to his brother Daniel. Wanted to break the tackle, gave the handball off. Lilydale surge forward again. The kick goes up towards the Sargent direction. He got down low and he took a good mark. So we'll have the second shot on goal. He's already kicked one, and that was a good bit of play there by the Lilydale side, Pete.
Yeah, once again, really quick transition and ball movement there as soon as they were able to turn the ball over. I'd be interested to hear a stat from from Soupy Campbell a little bit in a minute about the number of times Knox have handballed and their kick ratio, because it seems they're overusing that handball when they're in trouble, and Lilydale just get it and move it on so quickly.
The early jump could go to Lilydale, the away side today. We've only gone 3 minutes in this first term. Sargent leans over the ball and kicks it straight through the middle. That's his second. And Lilydale moved to 2 straight goals on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. And the Knox side, the home side, yet to score.
Yeah, where has this guy come from, Nick Sargent? He's only kicked 2 goals for the year to date so far, and he's got 2 in the first 5 minutes. So great start then from Sargent.
Let's cross down boundary side. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Damien Watson.
Thanks very much, BWS. Lilydale have started well considering they're not kicking to the favoured end of the ground wind-wise. The wind is favouring the left of your radio dial or the primary school end with a fairly slight breeze.
Thanks very much, Damo. Interesting to note as well, Pete, both times going inside 50, it went through the hands of Daniel Breeze as well, off half forward.
Giving him a lot of space there at the Knox defenders, and he's going to continue to cut them up if they continue to do that.
And on both occasions, they bypassed O'Keefe and went for Sargent. Interesting to see if that continues for the rest of the day. Ball back in the middle. Lilydale look to be underneath that footy. They try to extract the ball, but will have a ball up on the edge of the centre square. Soupy, thanks to Choose Tap, some stats that matter.
Knox 1 kick and 5 handballs. Lilydale 6 kicks and 4 handballs.
Still very early on, so interesting to see if that ratio continues. Knox trying to put their head over the ball. Charging through that time was Cracker. Off to Williams. Kicks up towards half forward. It's a good kick as well. The mark has been taken by the epitome of the fossil, Paul Treadray. And he will go back and look to put through his 8th goal for the game. 8th goal for the season, I should say. Comes in now. He's about 50 metres out. Not much angle to work with. He's a classy player. He's been around for Yonks. He knows how to kick goals, Paul Treadray, and that's a perfect example. He puts through Knox's first. They needed that one. Knox on to 1 straight 6. Lilydale 2 straight 12. 6 points the margin on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 4.5 minutes gone, Frosty.
I suppose the difference there in the way Knox played was instead of overdoing the handball, they got the ball onto boot quickly and found Treadray. But this is something I didn't expect, boys. We've seen 3 goals in the first 4 minutes of this game. 2 sides that don't really have that scoring proficiency that they've had early in the year. So this is a great start and paves the way for a fantastic game this afternoon.
Let's cross down boundary side. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Ray Baird.
And Johnny Knight's already taken Jared Clark off the ground, boys. I don't know for what reason. He certainly wasn't injured.
Healy got the tap out that time. The ball hit the deck on hands and knees. Is Grant Hill for the Falcons. They can't squeeze it out. He's tackled by Williams. We'll have a restart right in the middle of the patch.
Did you see where Clark started, Frosty?
Yeah, he started on Daniel Breeze, so down back, so that there's probably calling that change straight away, and he's probably identified that Breeze had too much influence already.
Once again, we've had a restart. Jeffrey can't get anywhere. Grant Hill had his measure, so we'll have a bounce once again in the middle of the ground. It's currently 2 goals straight to Lilydale, playing 1 goal straight to Knox. Hit out went to Knox's favour. Charging out at that time was Scott Davis. Got a handball out nice and wide to Cracker, who went short. But a good mark's been taken there by Roach, I think it was. He kicked it along the wing position, looking for Allen. He had to stand tall against 2-on-1 situation. And he took a good mark. Looking for leads up wide. Why wouldn't you go in the Breeze direction? He kicked it to Roach anyway. He stood tall. The curly top goes inside forward 50, looking for the O'Keefe direction. He had the front spot. Ball came down to the deck. Hands and knees. Handball out there by Bakes. That was good play. Put his teammate under a bit of pressure though. Still a loose footy in the back half of Knox. Can not Lilydale hold it in there? They can, so we'll have a bounce. 6 minutes gone here in the first term. It's 1 goal the difference. It's down Lilydale's end. Who's going to win possession out of this stoppage? Ball hits the deck once again. You'd think we'll have a restart. Grant Hill in there trying to force the ball out. Also there is ALO for Knox. Gets it out now to Bakes. That was okay. His kick was half smothered. Hottie sees it over the boundary line and out of bounds. So we'll have a boundary throw in almost 50 metres out from the Lilydale goals.
Do you know much about Jacob Castrogen, Frosty? He's been named the best 6 times. He's got the job on O'Keefe today.
Yeah, don't know a lot about him. I know he's one of the most important players for the Knox Footy Club, though. I haven't seen a lot of Knox over the last couple of years.
Healy got the knockdown straight into the arms of Grant Hill. He was wrapped up in a tackle, so another stoppage. We'll be looking at seeing quite a number of these today, even though the conditions are quite good. Once again, the handball came out there by Davis. Snap up to the top of the square for Lilydale, up towards the Breeze direction. He got 1 bite on it. The Dukes just couldn't stand true. Knox looked to clear the football. They're going for the safety of the boundary line. Picking it up now is Cracker. He's got a bit of it early. Gets it across there to Saunders, and he's going to look to clear.
So Knox now at half-back. The clearing kick from Saunders was in the direction of Marcus Jordan, but it was thumped away from him and over the boundary line and out of bounds 40 metres around from the Lilydale goal. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they laid 2 straight 12 to Knox 1 straight 6. EFL Game Day brought to you by the EFL mobile app. Go to m.efl.org.au and download it. Lilydale now through Barton, kick towards the top of the square. Daniel Breeze was in position A, but the ball went over the boundary line before it found him, and boundary throwing 20 metres around from goal, Frosty.
Been really impressed with the forward pressure that the Lilydale forwards have had. Knox have been unable to get the ball out of this defensive 50-metre line for maybe the last 2 or 3 minutes, and they're really tackling hard and providing plenty of forward pressure.
Boundary throw in, the tap there from Healy over his head. The umpire's pulled out a free kick and is going the way of the Falcons of the blue and gold variety. Didn't see exactly what it was for, but it's in very good hands. Nathan O'Keefe's got it.
Yeah, he's paid that as a throw, a double-handed tap out of the ruck
Healy?
over the back of his head. So he's called it a throw. I reckon that's a pretty tough decision.
That's stiff as.
Very, very hard call, but it's in good hands here for Lilydale as Nathan O'Keefe comes in looking for his first of the day, and it's just off to the right-hand side. So his first minus score, Lilydale's first minus score, the game's first minus score on EFL Game Day. 2-1-13 at Lilydale. Knox a 1 straight 6, 8.5 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So it'll be Knox to bring the ball back in through Makia. That is the correct pronunciation.
Makia, I think it is.
Makia.
Yep.
It's always the one you don't go with, isn't it, is Makia. Long kick out. Only went to the arms of Roach, though, who just strolled across half-back. So Lilydale look to rebounds. Roach kicks the ball up in towards the Breeze direction. A defensive tap by him. It came down towards the Castigan direction. They've got a goat here now through Nagel on the left boot. Can he squeeze it through? Lilydale, no. One behind is the result. So after kicking straight in their first couple of attempts, they put 2 behinds on the board on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, which moves them to 2 goals, 2-14. An 8-point lead now over Knox.
Knox struggling to get out of their defensive half at the moment. The last 5 minutes have certainly been played all in Lilydale's forward half. And look at them set up, guarding space, guarding this press. Makia, long left foot kick up towards true centre half back. Standing tall was Williams for Knox. Wasn't able to quite take the footy on hands and knees. Ball comes out. Now an opportunity for the Falcons. They might be able to get a high tackle here, and they do. So Lilydale
against Jeffrey
will take it now through Allen. He plays on now, swings onto the right foot. Kicks for O'Keefe. He's in position A. Read it nicely. Thumped away there by Castricum. Hands come out now to McKeer. You cannot miss him. The long hair and the tats. His kick is beautiful as well to Miles Cracker right in front of us here in the broadcast position. True centre on the half-back flank. He chips further afield. Good hard running here. Taken by Michael Aiello. Stephen Aiello, the Rio one, I think he's as his name. He's not playing today, his brother. He gets it back in, Michael Aiello, onto his right foot, up towards true centre wing, thumped away though, and the ball from Power to Allen, now comes in, ball, opportunity for Wright, into the middle of the ground, and kick inside 50 is not good, and there's that man Luke Williams sitting in the hole for Knox, and they're away off half-back.
Williams goes into the middle to Bakes. That combination has worked so well before. It goes into the middle of the ground. They're charging forward. This is Treadray. He might have a shot from 50 metres out. They might even let this one go. It's at the top of the square. Unable to take a mark was Marcus Jordan, and it's been rushed through for 1 behind. So that was a quick bit of play, Peter Baird, on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Knox sit at 8 points. They're trailing by 1 goal. It's 1 goal, 7 points, isn't it?
It certainly is. Both teams looking really attacking when they're able to move the ball quickly. When it starts stagnant stuff, I think Lilydale have got the ascendancy around the stoppages at the moment.
Lilydale wasting no time to get it out, but Ryan Jeffrey stood in front of Roach and took a good mark. He got it off to Hamill, put his teammate under pressure in Cracker, who kicks it to the top of the square. It's a 2-on-1 situation, nicely fisted away. Good defensive play by the Lilydale backs, and we'll have a boundary throw in about 20 metres out from the Knox goals. They've been peppering in the last minute or so, but it's been fast-flowing football. Umpire's going to throw it in over the back of the pack. No clear tap out. Comes out this time to Breeze. He had the running support there of Davies. He elected to go for him. We're in Guernsey today. Got it off to Davies. Wanted the 1-2, but he had a better option in Breeze up through the middle of the ground. That was a good lead up. He's got play out wide if he wants to spot him up. Jakey Taylor, he's got a player in. Roach in front spot. He might take this one. He nearly held enough of it too at the fall of the ball. That was good play that time by Davis to get a handball out of the danger zone. He couldn't find his teammate in Jeffrey. He's there to lay the tackle though. Jeffrey, it was a good bit of play. Done okay out of this one, Lilydale, Pete.
They did. Once again, Roach and Daniel Breeze, the two big marking ups half forward, have been really super so far. If they can't mark it, they bring the ball to ground, which is exactly what Lilydale are looking for.
Healy got the knockdown. He was looking for Williams. He couldn't quite trap it. He might even earn a free kick going in that hard. He has. So the free kick is across half back. Kicking to the middle of the ground, looking for Bakes. They linked up well last time. The ball goes over the back. Treadray was first to meet it. He got the running handball there to Dennis. He was sold one dummy, then kicked it up towards the half-forward line. That's okay. It was a bit of a skew-F kick, but the umpires paid another free kick. It's going to go the way of Knox, and it's going to go to Jeffrey. Across half-forward. So Sam, in the middle of the ground, goes to the big man Healy. Got it across to Cracker. He was almost run down. He got enough on it, though, to kick it inside 50. Who's going to go after this one? Trying to get it. The ball was Davis. He put his body on the line. We're going to have a bounce about 45 metres out from goal. Knox's end. They're trailing by 7 points at the 13.5-minute mark.
Good crowd here, Pete. We got some
Ripper
big names here as well.
None bigger than the one that just came in our caravan. Obviously, Rob Sharp to say good day.
Always feel that extra bit of pressure when the boss walks in. I'm glad he's walked away.
So on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Lilydale 2-2-14, leading Knox 1-1-7. Healy got the tap out, looking for that man in Scott Davis. And he says it over the boundary line, out of bounds. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap, some stats that matter.
Hit outs in Knox favour 12-5, inside 50s 8-5 in favour of Lilydale.
Lilydale certainly been peppering early, but Ben Healy has had a good time in the ruck so far. Who's going to get the clean clearance here? Ben Power took it out, but his kick was smothered by his own teammate in Roach. And we're going to see a ball up in the middle. Dangerous territory here for Lilydale. Of course, EFL Game Day, whether you're listening to 98.1 FM or streaming through us here on efl.org.au, brought to you by the EFL mobile app, m.efl.org.au. And OBWS has got it and he loves it. Ball up will occur once again.
If only Q had better range for Optus, I'd use it a lot more.
Very upper class part of the Eastern Suburbs Q. So, ball up in the middle of the forward 50 for Knox, but it's cleared here by Lilydale. They might have some running hands. They might be able to work it out. Davies, dangerous kick looking for Sargent, but he was equal to the task. Takes the mark at true centre half back. Well held up by Ryan Jeffrey. Sargent doesn't know which way to goes out towards the broadcast side where Matthew Wright takes the mark on half back. He chips short, but the kick is poor. And you don't want to kick it to Ryan Jeffrey because he's got one of the best sets of dukes you'll ever see. Quickly gives it off to Bates. He chips it over the top. Mark taken and paid to Cracker, who's had a fair bit of it early for Knox. He chips it further afield. Back to Bakes. Plays on quickly. Now the ball's inside 50. Knox have worked this well. A host of short kicks. And it's ended up in the hands of Joel McGowan, who takes the mark 45 metres out, slide angle, and will look to put through Knox's second, Peter Baird.
Yeah, they were very, very patient there, Knox. They just continued to chip it around till the option presented. And they didn't panic and didn't overuse that ball. That's really... really good play and really patient is probably the word I'm looking for. Go back and have a set shot now.
Peter Baird, the best man on the EFL Media Team in terms of special comments. You got him right here, an exclusive on EFL Game Day. And right here, it's Joel McGowan kicking towards goal. It looks a little right, but it sneaks in. And Knox have their second goal for the day. They go into 2-1-13, trailing Lilydale 2-2-14 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 15.5 minutes gone here on EFL Game Day, thanks to the EFL mobile app. They needed that one, Frosty.
They certainly did. And the game's supposed to be playing a little bit more on Knox's. 4 minutes, we saw 3 goals. In the next 10 minutes, Knox has just been able to manage the one, but it's that same style of play that Knox like. They like that hard-fought scrap of a contest, and that's what the game's sort of turning into here. Knox were probably caught napping a little bit early, but they're starting to get their structures in place now to shut down that run and fast ball movement we saw from Lilydale.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. It'll be Jeffrey going up against Power that time. We'll give that one to Jeffrey. He got it out wide. McGowan, who kicked that last goal, kicked it on his left boot inside forward 50. Can they manage to trap it and get another one? Snap around the body that time by Davis went wide. He's got players running out wide in Tyler. Is he fast enough? Right on his hammer was Matty Wright, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Right forward pocket for the Knox Footy Club. They're trailing by 1 point at the 16.5 minute mark. Just waiting for the ball to be returned. Pye to bring it in now. It'll be Power versus Healy. Healy worked himself to the front spot. Trying to snap the ball around was Castricum. He was tackled, so we'll have another bounce.
Almost a stoppages, waiting for the ball to come back. It's reminiscent of last week, Ben Warren-Smith.
It certainly is, but we've got a lot better position to call it from. The ball came down to Greaves, sold one dummy, then snapped the ball into pretty much his own player over the boundary line and out of bounds. Lilydale have worked the ball about another further 20 metres, so it's sitting around 45 metres out from the Knox goals. We've gone 17.5 minutes in here in the first term. It's 1 point the difference. Any more stats that you've got over there, Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tab? Obviously not. We're going to call the game. He's just signalling elsewhere. Well, we've got another stoppage, so I'm going to throw it back to you. Give me some gold.
Clearances 8-7 in favour of Lilydale, so not much difference there. Inside 50 is now 8-7 in favour of Lilydale.
Well, the ball's just inside 50. That time it was knocked away by Healy. He tried to create the wide space. A handball goes towards the Davies direction. Further on there to Barden, tapping it to his advantage. He needed some running support and he got it. Lilydale now across the wing position, kicked the ball up towards half forward. Coming out and taking a good mark there was Daniel Breeze. He's been leading from the front all afternoon towards the Roach direction over the back of the pack. A good mark has been taken, so Knox are going to clear. They've got the short options on. The longer one seems the better one as a kick up towards the half-back line was fisted away by Davies, put a bit of pressure on. He had Sargent there as well, so I'm pretty sure Ryan Jeffrey was happy to see that ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. So the free kick, no one really knows who it's actually going to here, so it's going to Knox and it's going to go to Scott Davis. Short passes on. Jordan. Davis is running on for the handball. Once again goes for the longer option. The kick up towards the half forward line. Sam Jeffrey put his body on the line, then won the possession, got the handball over the top. Charging through was Luke Williams. Didn't get clear disposal. Umpire let it go. Gang tackling there on Lilydale. Just like saw the ball just scoop out that way to Dennis. Bangs it on his boot up towards the half forward line. They're switching the play, but it was a 2-on-1 situation. And at the task there is a big man Healy. He got completely crunched in a tackle at the fall of the ball. There is Mitchell Greaves. He gets around one. He gets around two and kicks it to the forward pocket. Going for the mark there was Sam Jeffrey. Couldn't quite meet it. They're going in really hard. This is good play. Morrison wanted the safety of the boundary line and he won that. 45 metres out from goal. Knox's end. We've gone 20 minutes here in the first term. It's 1 point the difference, Ben Waterworth.
How good is Daniel Breeze playing at the moment, Frosty?
Just really strong overhead, leading out, providing the option, really leading this team by example. He's a fantastic player.
Ball back into play and it's going to be the Falcons off half back through Allen. Kick along the wing. Not quite to anyone's advantage, but it does go towards Knox, and now they can look to rebound on the outer wing. Hand pass in, ball was okay to ALO. Short chipping ball up towards the half-forward flank is nice as well. Mark's been taken, about 70 metres out from goal. The Falcons have got the ball, the red and black variety. High kick up towards Truson half-forward position. Healy was in position A. Ball comes to ground though. Power tries to feed out a hand pass. Lilydale have the numbers at the back. And a long left foot kick along the wing towards true centre wing position. Roach. Ball was thumped away from him. And looks like we should have a ball up on top of that ball. There was Jake Taylor.
Sean Kelly's love child.
Yeah, and I was just having a look at Jake Taylor. He hasn't had a huge influence on he had a great Division 2 season last year, Frosty, but he hasn't had a big influence so far this season.
No, he hasn't, but he's just provided him with that versatility as well. And there's another player you have to watch if you're coming up against Lilydale.
Ryan Jeffrey got the tap down to Treadray, kicked to no man's land inside 450, but it might work out okay because Healy got a little hand pass over the top, swinging on the left foot, short chipping ball over the top, might work out okay, but it's gone through for a minor score for Knox. The scores are level here at Knox Gardens Reserve on EFL Game Day. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, almost 21 minutes gone. Knox 2-2-14, Lilydale 2-2-14, Frosty.
And Knox are starting to set up their structures really well. They're starting to get numbers back behind the play. They're across half-back and setting up that wall nicely, which is really repelling those Lilydale thrusts forward.
They're going to waste no time either, Lilydale. Little play to themselves and then kick towards the Roach direction. It travelled about 60 metres. Good fist away by Ryan Jeffrey. Sees the ball out of bounds. Members side of the ground right behind the Lilydale bench. 60 metres out from goal. Knox's end. We've hit time on. It's all square out here at Knox Gardens Reserve. We expected a close one and we're getting it early on in the piece. Davies got the handball out. That was good play to Ryan Breeze, and he's away through the middle of the ground. Kicked it up towards half forward over the top of Wright's head, who's going to be the fastest player here in this situation. First to meet it was McGowan. That was okay. Put his body on the line. Nagel's in there for Lilydale, trying to feed it out. He did so now. Put his teammate under a lot of pressure. He might get pinked here. Charging through. That was good play by Hamill. Released the football for Knox as he kicked it up towards the wing position. Going in hard was Davies at ground level. On the left boot, kicks it inside forward 50. Who's charging out and taking a mark? It's the big fella, and he comes out. Daniel Breeze, we've talked about him already, and he's just been playing for in front all day. And I know it's only quarter time, or almost quarter time, but he started that from behind Peter Baird and worked his way to the front.
He's just got a little bit too much burst off the mark for Brendan Mackier there, who did try and do the right thing and play from in front. But as soon as Breeze took off, they wasn't able to match him. And he's going to cut Knox up if they continue to look for him, and he's able to mark and get away that easily.
He looks on.
He does. He's having a fantastic game.
You'd expect him to put it through from. He leans over the ball and pushes it to the left-hand side, so a little bit of a letdown for Daniel Breeze there, but he does give his side the lead on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Lilydale moved to 2 goals, 3-15, but it's only 1 point. Knocks a 2-2-14, 23 minutes gone.
Dan Breeze has got Narellan Poole's best player of the day written all over him at the moment. Of course, if he does win it, we'll get a $100 Visa gift card he can use in any way. So it'll be Bakes to bring it out. His kick is good. Finds our man, Brett Adams, who was on the huddle a couple of weeks ago and was very nice. But that kick was very un-huddle-like, Pete. We don't make mistakes like that. And it's been kicked out of bounds on the full. So right in front of us here in the broadcast position, about 60 metres out from goal, it'll be Steve McDonald. But Knox have got a heap of players inside 50. Try and spot up a player towards a big contest now, and they can rebound out of 50. Here's Cracker, put his head over the football. Wasn't able to quite give out a clean hand pass. Umpire calls play on. And umpire now calls for a ball up 40 metres out directly in front of goal, Pete.
Just seeing, very interesting to see Johnny Knights trying to play that man in front of Daniel Breeze now. Brett Adams was filling that hole. Marcus Hotties is dropping back as we speak to try and make him accountable.
McDonald from the contest for Lilydale wasn't able to quite take it cleanly and get to ball. Ball still about 35 metres out from Lilydale's goal. Knox will certainly not want to give up a goal as we've got a ball up directly in front of the big sticks. Ball comes to ground now. Healy clearly got the tap down. McDonald again for Lilydale. Put his head over the football. And umpire again crosses himself. So 24 minutes gone. It's Lilydale by 1 point. Little bit of argy-bargy just at half-back. Umpire keeps the play moving. Michael Vozzo will be a fan of that one as heaps of players converge on the footy again. So it's Lilydale 1 point, 2-3-15 to 2-2-14 Knox. This is EFL Game Day, proudly brought to you by the EFL mobile web app. Put m.efl.org.au in your mobile browser. You'll get access to all the latest news from around the Eastern Football League. Luke Williams was able to finally get the ball out of defensive 50, but his kick was ordinary. It's landed in the arms of Roach. Now, he does a dangerous switch. This one has to come off, and it does in the end. So he's got a player inboard. So mark's been taken now for Lilydale. So Carswell's kick inboard was good to Chris Shaw. We like this player. Left foot kick inside forward 50s, just off target. And the mark's been taken by Miles Cracker at half-back, and he'll look to rebound for the Falcons of the black and red variety.
Wouldn't think there's too long to go in this quarter. The kick goes across the face. Castricum. It was worth it. You heard the size. Goes short. Moving the ball okay out of here, Knox. Adams takes the mark, but it was a scrappy kick. Just when you say they're doing all right, that comes off Peter Bear, but they've worked it out to centre wing.
That's 2 scrappy kicks in a row there from Brad Adams. Last one went out of bounds on the full. That one there just landing millimetres inside the boundary line. Really needs to work on finishing that final disposal.
Umpire throws it in. It'll be Roach versus Healy. No clear tap out over the back of the pack. Lilydale going to surge the ball forward. Taylor was tackled. Charging through was Davis. Showed a burst of speed. Bakes getting it off to Cracker. Banks 50 now, but there's nobody home. And chopping off and taking a good mark was Dean Carswell for Lilydale. So he has short options on. And they've got players further down the wing because Roach has made good space and he takes the mark now. This looks promising. Wants to wind around, gets onto the left boot. I think that's his opposite too. Kicks it up towards the O'Keefe direction. He got one bite at the fall of the ball. Who's going to be down? Handball. Back towards the O'Keefe direction. They're just still trying to work it forward. Hotties is charging through in the long sleeves. He paddled it to himself and then got completely gang tackled. The umpire might even ping him here. And he gave him the benefit of the doubt when you get gang tackled by 4 players. And we'll have a bounce about 45 metres out from goal. Lilydale's end. Umpire wasting no time, throws it up. Healy got the knockdown on hands and knees. They're going to work it out. Bakes went out wide. Right near the boundary line now. As the siren goes, it was being cleared by Brett Adams. And at quarter time, it's only a 1 point ball game out at Knox Gardens Reserve for the EFL. A match of the day between Knox and Lilydale. And it's the away side, Lilydale, 2-3-15. A slender lead of 1 point over the Knox Falcons. Obviously, the battle of the Falcons today, 1 point. Great first quarter out here. We'll be back with all the scores from around the grounds with Daniel Sensick of Ben Waterworth right after the break here on EFL Game Day.
G'day. Join Russ, Norm and Dan each week on Thursday around noon for an entertaining mix of music, interviews, community information and a smile or two. Tune in 11am to 2pm for Thursday around noon with the gang of three, Russ Reid, Norm Wright and Dan the Pole Climber.
Radio Eastern 98.1. It's coming up to 24-3. Barry Cox here back in the studio. And check of some AFL scores. And the game being played this afternoon is between North Melbourne and West Coast down there in Tasmania. And it's the 10-minute mark of the first quarter. And North Melbourne have kicked away. North Melbourne 7-2-44. Lead West Coast 3-3-21. Major goal kickers for North. Thomas has 2 and 1 each to Hanson and Harvey. And for the West Coast, Cox has 1. So does Kerr and Priddle. Now the other game is being played at the MCG this afternoon between Melbourne and Richmond. And coming up to the 24-minute mark of the first quarter. And it's Richmond 3-6-24. Leading Melbourne no score. So coming up to quarter time, Melbourne had not kicked anything as yet. So Richmond 3-6-24 to no. Major goal kickers for Richmond, Delidio, Riewoldt and White all have 1 each. Now, do you have sudden fever, aching body, sore throat, chills, nausea, headache, dizziness? It sounds like you need medical assistance urgently. It's difficult getting an immediate appointment with your GP when you need care fast. So come to Akira Urgent Care, where you don't need an appointment and you won't have to wait. They're Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road in Baronia, or phone them on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. Your health, your destiny.
If you love your EFL footy like I do and you love getting down to see your team play, you don't want to be spending your weekend stuck in the car driving. That's why I opened a Breeze account. Eastlink is the quickest, easiest way to get around Melbourne's east, and tags are the cheapest way to use Eastlink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au today and use Eastlink in the cheapest possible way with a tag account. Instead of being stuck behind the wheel, I can have more time getting stuck into the umpire. Ball! Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy.
Program sponsor. In desperate need of some windows but your budget's too tight? Never fear, because the team at T&B Window Warehouse has the right solution for you. We have surplus windows to suit the needs of any budget. We're located at 120 to 124 Bayfield Road East, Bayswater North. Give us a call, 8727 7506. That's 8727 7506. T&B Window Warehouse. Don't forget the name, part of the EAL and AW Transport Group. Number 1 in window transport. Program sponsor.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Quarter time here at Knox Gardens Reserve. It is Knox 2-2-14, trailing Lilydale 2-3-15 in the battle of the Falcons. Very, very good game of football so far, and good to see Peter Baird tucking into a hamburger at quarter time as well. They are sensational, and they will get a very good review on the huddle at quarter time. It looks like we're on Wednesday night, I should say. Looks like we're ahead of a lot of games out in the Eastern Football League. Something a bit of a rarity out for the EFL Game Day Caravan of Courage. So what we might do now is, as we're getting some scores, Daniel Senchik working feverishly away, we might cross to Grant Campbell thanks to Yarra Valley Water. Be smart, choose tap. Some of the important stats from that first term, Soupy.
The contested possessions, 32-25 in favour of Knox. Inside 50s, 14-10 in favour of Lilydale. Marks inside 50 were 4-3 in favour of Knox, and every goal that was kicked was from a mark inside 50. And I'm going to finish off with the free kick stat. It was only 3-2 in favour of Knox, but I like the fact that the umpire's letting the game go, not looking for soft ones today. So it's good to see they only paid 5 free kicks in that quarter.
Oh, nice work there from Grant Campbell, of course, the number one stats man at the Casey Scorpions at the moment. We've got a couple of scores through. And the EFL, of course. Donvale 4-1-25 to Doncaster East 3-2-20. I think that might be the only one that we got through at the moment. So we must be certainly ahead of time at the moment.
One extreme to the other from last week, isn't it?
Exactly. We're certainly struggling. Last week. Let's have a look. One just coming through off the Twitter. Bayswater 2-4-16 trailing Mooroolbark 4-4-28. So not a bad start there for Mooroolbark, but Bayswater certainly sticking with them early. What we might do is Peter Baird's just having an enjoyable time out there on in the hamburger and other things as well. Benny, what did you make of that first half? We're talking off air we're talking a fair beforehand. It's a great quarter to call, even though there was 4 goals kicked between the two teams. But there was some good bits of play, and you can obviously tell the skills in these two teams are quite high. It's Division 1 footy at a pretty high standard.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that first term. You wouldn't know that it's only been 4 goals kicked in that quarter because it was quite free-flowing. It's pretty impressive, probably both the back halves of either side to this date, because they are working the ball from half back to half forward either side inside pretty quickly as well. But then the ball's been held up quite a bit. There'd probably be 2 or 3 stoppages at a time when the ball's going inside 50 and the opposition side to going down that end is actually holding the ball in there. So some people might look at the scoreline and say it is a little bit scrappy. I totally disagree with that. It's good conditions out here. They are moving the ball pretty quickly, and it's really just about one side getting a little bit of a roll on, and we can't quite pinpoint which one that's going to be yet because neither side really wants to give an inch, and there was a lot of pressure in that first quarter of football too, which I was impressed about, and it just proves why Division 1 is the superior division.
It's a ripper division. We love calling it as well. We just got another score through, and it's from the Wantirna South Warrandyte game, and it's a good start for the Bloods. 4-1-25, leading Wantirna South 2-8-10. Let's cross down boundary side to Damien Watson, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Thanks, Betty. I have Lilydale coach Simon Rourke with me. Simon, the game enveloped into a scrappy encounter towards the latter part of that quarter. How are you going to regain that quick ball movement in the second term?
No, at this stage we're happy with the game at the moment. We're playing one-on-one football, and that's the way we want to play. So once we get our hands on the footy, then we roll and go. But at this stage, I want to scrap.
And in that first term, particularly early, your quick ball movers in the midfield seemed to ignore Nathan O'Keefe early in that term. Was that a premeditated plan?
Oh, no, look, they'll roll back on Nath, so they know they've got to make the decision with the ball. If there's a couple back on Nathan, we've got to have other options to go to. I think Sarge got free a couple of times and looked really dangerous. So, yeah, we don't want to be one-dimensional there.
Okay, thanks very much, mate.
Good on you, Damien Watson. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care with Lilydale coach Simon Rourke. Interesting that he said that he wanted a scrap. So let's see if this one turns into a scrap. We're underway here in the second term in the Battle of the Falcons, and it's Lilydale who try to extract it first. And it's Hill on hands and knees, paddling it towards goal. No one able to quite take clean possession, though. Lilydale have the numbers if they're able to get on this. Here's Ryan Breeze on the left foot, kick towards goal as well, off target and off to the left and out of bounds on the full. It's the Falcons by 1 point. We've played in the opening 30 seconds here in the first term. I think that might have been Ray Baird, where let's cross down to him now thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, look, I spoke with Johnny Knight at quarter time. He's very happy at quarter time. He was had a bit of trouble there early in the quarter where they seemed to get on top, but he said now that they've settled, his main problem was he wanted to get small players at the feet of O'Keefe. He said because Lilydale, they're small players, they run hard to get there. And that was his only concern.
Thanks very much to Ray Baird. Akira, of course, brought to you by Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical emergency clinic. And Knox are away. They're running away with this one, not walking away. And they gained about 15 metres with that kick as it goes out of bounds, true centre wing position. Where do you see this game going in the second quarter? Pretty even first quarter, Pete.
It was, and it's very interesting to hear Simon Rourke then say he wanted it as a scrap, because I reckon Johnny Knight, that's what he'd want as well. Knox have been able to get their structures right later in that quarter, and they've been able to shut down that run and fast ball movement from Lilydale, and I can see that happening more and more as the game goes on. Both teams' structures will get in place, and this game's going to be a ripper.
The usual suspects over this footy, Ryan Breeze, Luke Williams, Scott Davis, they've been in and under all day. We'll see a ball up right in front of the Lilydale coach's box, close to centre wing here on the broadcast side. Healy and Power. Power got a nice little bit of elevation there, tapped it forward, but only as far as Joel McGowan. Little dribbling kick along. It was good to Ryan Jeffrey. He was clean under pressure. His handball just a little bit too hot for Luke Williams, but gee, the Knox skipper was good in that situation. Put his head over the footy and won himself a free kick for too high as Hill put on a bit of a bad tackle there. Williams now onto the left foot, looks for Clark. The Dukes are out, couldn't quite take the mark. Ball comes to ground now, and we'll see a ball up 30 metres out directly in front of the Knox goal. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, just over 2 minutes gone this second term. Lilydale by 1 point. Ball comes to ground. Here's an opportunity. Bakes on the left foot, goes towards goal. Great kick, Lucas Bakes just off to the right and a minus score. Scores a level, 2-3-15 apiece, and Knox and Lilydale. 2.5 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Of course, EFL Game Day brought to you by the EFL mobile app, m.efl.org.au.
It'll be Carswell to bring the ball back in. Got plays by himself, unattended. Chris Shaw Takes the mark across half-back. Offensive 50. He might elect to go back towards the middle of the square. He does to Carswell. They're going across the ground here. Allen takes the mark in the opposite pocket to where Shaw had it only a minute ago. Then they go direct up to the middle of the ground at the fall of the ball. Grant Hill wanted to give a little handball off, put his teammate under a lot of pressure, and a throw's created. Wright couldn't get a hold of it. So the ball's in the arms of Jordan. About 65 metres out from goal. Got a few players short. Healy, the big man, if he wants him, goes for the longer direction. Ball inside 50 at the fall of the ball. Shaw tried to paddle it towards the boundary line. Had Morrison there too. That's all they want as well. Treadray came in. The umpire's going to play a free kick to Lilydale. So the Falcons of the blue look to clear. Ryan Breeze now. Kick out towards half-back. Is the ball going to sit up in time for Ryan Mitchell? If he can keep it in, he paddled it to himself and did really well. Kick back into the middle of the ground, really went into no man's land, and it went over the head of Bakes, and he wasn't up to the task to take the mark. He's going to get it now. That was a handball. Series of handballs went backwards to go forwards. They've got players out across in Cracker. If the ball can meet him, he has to be up to the task, and he is. Gets a knee in the back and then wants to go on with it. He could nearly kick a goal if he wants to go, but he doesn't. He goes short, and chopping off and taking a good mark was Grant Hill. Just in the nick of time. One of the premiership players from last year in Division 2, Grant Hill, alongside two of his brothers. His kick wasn't too great. Crash hot looking for Braden. Knox go inside 50 and coming out and taking a good mark. That time it was Ryan Jeffrey. It's a pretty acute angle, but he might fancy himself. Umpire's called him on now. He has to go back and go from 50. This is going to go really close to the top of the square at the fall of the ball. Can he be snapped around the body by Treadray? No. Still Allen. Oh, and it's been kicked by Kay out of absolutely nowhere on the left boot. The umpire let it go. And a great goal there by Brett Kay puts Knox in front for the first time this afternoon on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They move to 3 goals, 3-21. Lilydale 2-3-15. 5 minutes gone now in the second term.
Yeah, really great play then from forward. They almost set up a very, what you'd see in the back line as that defensive zone, but they did it in their own forward line and they stopped Lilydale running that ball out. McGowan was great. They're putting a great lot of pressure on. They held the ball inside their forward 50 and just worked really hard, and Johnny and I would be really happy with that, their pressure around the fall of the ball. Really got a goal out of nothing then by Brett Kay.
Let's go around the grounds with Daniel Sensik. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks very much, BWS. Vermont 13 points over South Croydon. East Burwood 1 point over Blackburn. Lilydale 1 point over Knox, of course. Noble Park 2 points over East Ringwood. On to Division 2. Mooroolbark 12 points over Bayswater. Roeville 20 points over Doncaster. Donvale 5 points over Doncaster East. Montrose 11 points over Mulgrave. And on to Division 3, we've got Heathmont and Baronia. Well, Heathmont running away with it there, 41-3, so 38-point leaders there.
Jeez.
Ringwood 32 points over Chernside Park. Warrandyte 5 points over Wanturna South. North Ringwood 35 points over Coldstream. And moving on to Division 4, we've got South Belgrave 14 points over Park Orchards. Forest Hill 12 points over Surrey Park. Eastern Lions 3 points over the Fentree Gully Eagles. And the Basin 8 points over Sylvan.
Good work there, Dan Senchik, going around the grounds. And he is all over that. Make sure you follow him at Footy EFL today. He's got all the live scores and we'll be crossing to him all the way throughout the day. Ball is on the outer side, about 80 metres out from the Knox goal, and they just look a little bit more settled. They've come out in this second term, just look a little bit more settled at the moment. Boundary throw-in occurs now. Treadray picks the ball up, just a little bit of experience, brings it inboard, taken here by Cracker. Left foot kick inside 50, looking for Bakes, I should say. Read that ball very nicely. Did Lucas good. Bakes. He's very good, and he's a good kick for goal as well. He's a left footer. And they can go back and try and put this one through. He's about 40 metres out, but a tough angle for a left footer. So, for Knox's second goal in 2 minutes, he's looking inboard. He wants to give it off, but now he settles. Plays on now. Left foot kick towards goal. Looks all right. Will just land short. Clark thumped away from him in the goal square. Pouncing on the ball there was the Lilydale defence, and that was Marcus Hoddy. He's had a little bit of it early on. And we'll see a ball up about 20 metres out from goal. Ball comes now to ground. Aiello was there. No one able to quite take it for either side. Almost holding the ball against Lilydale in front of Knox's goal. It's no avail. A little bit of argy-bargy just in front of goals. On the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it's Knox by one straight kick. 7.5 minutes gone here on EFL Game Day. Power got the tap down. Umpires pulled out a free kick and it will go the way of Lilydale. Cal Morrison will take it from the full-back line. Short chipping ball over the top, had to be good, and it was to Hotties. Interesting little setup with the hair he's got going there. Don't know about that. He kicks it over the top to Allen. He goes further afield to Roach. That's good skills. Roach plays on immediately, and he's got a little bit of open space. He kicks up towards the full forward area. O'Keefe is in position A. Ball comes to ground. Here's Sargent. He's got two. He straightens up. He kicks towards goal. Needs a favourable bounce. Bounces through for a goal. Nick Sargent has 3. Lilydale have 3. And the scores are level here at Knox Gardens Reserve. And on EFL Game Day, it's Knox 3-3-21 to Lilydale 3-3-21. Almost just over 8 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Bit of a find here. Nick Sargent, 2 goals before the day, Frosty. He's got 3 today.
He certainly is, and that's exactly what Johnny Knight said to Ray Baird at quarter time. When the Lilydale forwards run to get to the feet of Nathan O'Keefe, the Knox players not going with them. Sargent getting there that time. Johnny Knight would be disappointed because that's exactly what he spoke about with Ray Baird at quarter time.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. The lead is at nobody's because it's all tied up here at Knox Gardens Reserve. It comes out wide. That was a good bit of play by Hamill to put the pressure on. He got down on hands and knees. They're trying to still work the ball forward, and Knox going in hard. Cutting across there was Treserio. But Knox are going to win the football. Goes up towards the half-forward line. Jeffrey had front spot. The kick wasn't crash hot for him. He's trying to win a free kick. It's almost over the shoulder. The umpire can't come in and pay anything. He was a little bit far behind that. So you would have thought it was either high or holding the ball. Both situations had it. Healy got the knockdown that time. Allen's in there too. 2 hotties. Played for the free kick, pushing the back. The umpire didn't want a bar of it. Working across the half-forward line, Jeffrey. His kick was partly smothered, so he's been actually paid out of bounds on the full. I'm not sure which way this is going to go.
Boundary.
So it'll be a free kick to Lilydale, you would think. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Ray Baird.
One thing we've noticed, boys, this quarter Lilydale's rotations have almost stopped, whereas Knox just keep changing them all the time.
So I think the ball found its way on top of the water tank, and we've got it back now.
I reckon they're a bit stiff here, Knox. I reckon that kick was smothered off the boot then, but the umpire's paid out on the full.
Certainly was smothered, Pete. Breeze goes short. He's got
Tesseriero, I think.
Tesseriero on the left boot. Kick just stays inside the boundary line. Players calling for out of bounds on the full, but we'll have a boundary throw in on centre wing. All square here, 10 minutes gone in the second term. EFL Game Day, the big Division 1 clash, Lilydale versus Knox. The umpires plucked a free kick out of here. It's going to go the way of Lilydale. It's going to be Hotties to take the advantage, but he stuffed up the second bounce on the ground and then was quickly tackled. Got the handball away. Charging in there was Davis for Knox. Got down low. He's going to win a free kick. Taylor was a little bit too harsh. So Davis for Knox goes one way, then the other. The kick wasn't too good because Hotties had front spot, and then he takes off 2 from Healy, and then he was absolutely crunched in a tackle. Players just taking on everyone here as the ball's in the middle of the ground. Knox are trying to go through. Great tackle by Robert Allen, wraps his opponent up. There was little prior opportunity, so we'll have a bounce centre wing. It's definitely a feisty game.
Definitely is a feisty game here at Knox Gardens Reserve. Boundary throw in, true centre wing position. Coming through. Nicely done by Allen. That's a great hard contested ball one, and he thumps it forward towards the forward 50 area. Oh, Daniel Breeze was left all by himself. The kick for goal is ordinary, though.
It's a shocker.
It's a shocker. He had a big opportunity to put through a goal there, and it might prove costly because Knox are away off halfback. Handball over the top to Makia. Comes out of his defensive 50 now. Looks for the Foss. Paul Treadray all by himself. Takes the mark. Plays on quickly. The kick is poor inboard, and the mark's been taken by the man in the 9 news dots, Ashraf Davies. Goes short, but that kick is just as bad. And the mark's been taken in front for Knox by Williams.
Ben Healy, I think it is.
Might be Ben Healy. I thought that was a bit too big for Williams. So the big man, Big Ben, chips it back towards his defensive goal square. Adams' kick is good, and I think it's just gone out of bounds on the full. So Lilydale will have the free kick, and it's in good hands as well because Daniel Breeze has got it. He's tucked up on the boundary line, about 40 metres out from goal, on the right side for a right footer. He wants to go in ball, but Knox look like they've got a pretty good defensive structure in place in their defensive 50. So Breeze kicks towards goal. Looks all right. Oh, Daniel Breeze, you're a star. He puts it through. And Lilydale have hit the lead here at Knox Gardens Reserve. 4-3-27 to Knox 3-3-21. 12.5 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Awesome kick from Daniel Breeze. He's playing one heck of a first half, Frosty.
He certainly is, and I've seen him do that before. He did something very similar in the second semi-final last year against Roval out at East Burwood Reserve, right on the boundary line, 50 metres out. Rock back and put it through on that day. He's done exactly the same thing then, so no fluke then from Daniel Breeze.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Lilydale. They won't relinquish the lead. They have it once again. No one got the clear tap out. Healy got down on hands and knees. It came out towards Tesorio. Kick up towards the half-forward line, looking for Roach, trying to pull in a one-hander. He was quickly met, then working the ball forward. Still Lilydale, if they can get clear disposal, they can't. Ball's going to be run out now by Dennis. Had players out wide, or he went even wider towards the boundary line and the safety of it. Tyler was first to meet it, swung around, tried to get it to Makia over the top of his head, charging through. Also there was Dennis, good backup play. Ball scoops out to Power, sold the dummy, then kicked it up towards the Roach direction, almost at half forward now. He's going to swing around and go on the left, and he's going to go in towards the Breeze direction, and coming out and taking a good mark was O'Keefe instead. He's been a little bit quiet. He hasn't been the main focal point, but he takes a good mark. Short options on. Oh, that's a bit of a let-off too. Sargent, who kicked 2 goals in the first term, found a little bit of space, a little bit closer to goal too, so he'll look to put Lilydale's 5th goal on the board, and that 2-goal gap may be a formality, Pete.
Certainly is, and a real concern here for Knox with Brendan McKeer, very slow to get up here.
Yeah.
He's one of their key backmen here against the 3 tall Lilydale forwards they've got in Roach, Breeze, and of course O'Keefe, so they can't afford to be without him here, Knox.
Sargent from about 40 metres out from goal is usually a very good kick, and this is no exception, but it just catches the wind at the last moment, through for one behind, and that's their 4th for the afternoon, and they've stretched their lead now to 8 points. Lilydale, they moved to 4-4-29. That doesn't make any sense. It should be 28, and Knox are 3-3-21, so it's a 7-point margin as we cross down boundary side, thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Damo.
Yeah, Lilydale's Marcus Hotty's hobbled off with a left ankle injury, but he looks to be okay. He's coming on as we speak.
He's a big loss. They can't afford to have him off the ground for too long, Marcus Hotties, because he looks like he might be returning to form now. As from the kick out, Knox might have the numbers as Sam Jeffrey gets a hand pass over the top. They're running in numbers, but the execution was pretty poor on that occasion. Yeah, they might have earned themselves a free kick here at Truce and a half back, and they have. So it will be Kay. Swing on that left foot. He's already kicked 1 this term. The kick out wide might work out okay, and it has as well. Mark taken. Chip further afield. Ryan Jeffrey up towards full forward. Treadray Clark over the top. A big leap. Wasn't able to quite take the mark. Running onto it is Aiolo. Dribbles it through Leon Davis style, but wasn't able to quite put it through the sticks. And Allen will give a hand pass to Roach. And they're away off halfback. Right in front of us here in the broadcast position, off defensive 50. Kick up towards true centre wing position was ordinary. And a mark's being taken there for Knox by Lepore. Jared Lepore playing his first season 2012 game today. Gets his first touch, I would think, as well, as Knox moved through the middle of the ground. Treadray was in position A, thumped away from him. Ball comes to ground. Got an unlucky bounce on that occasion, did the Falcons of the black and red variety. They've earned themselves a free kick for a high tackle. Treadray was thinking about taking the advantage, but didn't. He gives it back to Kay in the end. He chips it over the top, and he's got a free player. Aiolo's chipping ball well over the head of that man in Lucas Bakes. We'll see a free kick for out of bounds on the full, and Lilydale will look to rebound, Frosty.
Yeah, we'll just see if we can get an injury update on Brendan McKeer from our boundary riders there, see if they can head over to the Knox huddle and find out. He's going to be very important to those Knox structures.
The switches on to right, so Lilydale still in their defensive arc. Back pocket, members side, right, going for the long option now. Kick up towards the true centre half-back position. Ball's fisted over the boundary line and out of bounds. Great crowd out here today at Knox Gardens Reserve, and we're seeing a very good contest too. Only 7 points is the margin. The away side who've sort of held that lead for most of the afternoon. Power over the back of the pack. Treadray put his body on the line, tried to create some space. Healy on hands and knees, gets it across. Little short pass by McGowan. Went towards the Bakes direction. He's going to be the first to meet it. He had to be good. His handball was a little bit sloppy, but they had teammates there in support. Kick up towards the direction, and in finding a good spot was Jared Clark, and he takes a mark. The umpire said it was play on. I don't think anyone's really too happy about that. It might have been touched off the boot. Did you see that one, Soupy? No, he didn't.
He didn't.
Don't
giving us nothing.
Maybe turn your microphone on as well, mate. And as the ball comes back in, Lilydale They're going to look to clear it. Trying to get a handball out there was Ryan Breeze. Just in the nick of time, he got it out. In there is Adams on hands and knees, along with Sargent on his hammer, so the ball's going to be bounced again. 17.5 minutes gone. It's a 7-point margin. Choose tap stats, Grant Campbell.
Forward 50 tackles, 6-0 in this quarter in favour of Knox.
Power got that knocked down. Came out towards Breeze. He spent it before he had it, and the kick goes up towards the Bakes direction. Half forward for Knox. It's just inside the forward 50. I think we're going to get a stoppage here. Grant Hill's not letting the ball go anywhere. Lukey Williams, the battle of the sevens. No one was giving an inch. And we'll have a bounce. 45 metres out from goal now. It's directly in front. High to bounce it. Just waiting on him. Good fist over the top there by Jeffrey. Went straight to Shaw, though. He knew the right spot to be. Allen, who's been okay in this second quarter, got the clearing kick out. And a good mark has been taken by Hoddies. So he's come to life a little bit in this second term too. Marcus Hoddies, usually a star, gets it up towards Daniel Breeze. It'll be quieter in this second term, but it has had a ripper first half. Healy got one hand to it. It came down to Bakes, or more so Brett Adams, who won the free kick. It's crossed down boundary side thanks to Akira Edge and care to Ray Baird.
Yeah, that Brendan McKeer, he's just got a bit of a knee in the back, boys. He's okay. He'll be back on in a few minutes.
Thank you very much to Ray down boundary side. Adams just taking his time. Been called play on now. Which way is he going to go? He went for the short option, put his teammate under a lot of pressure there in Ayalo, who's going to be up there. Sargent, he worked the ball forward to O'Keefe, who's going to stroll in and kick an open goal. And that's a gimme too, because Lilydale put their 5th on the board on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. And now it's a 13-point lead over Knox, who are 3-3-21. We've almost hit time on Peter Baird in this second term.
Yeah, I reckon Simon Rorke's found a player there in young Nick Sargent. He was super then. The forward pressure he put on caused the turnover, caused that ball to spill out. Nathan O'Keefe was just able to run into an open goal, as you called there, BWS. The Lilydale Falcons now have jumped out to that 2-goal lead.
Good game of Division 1 football here on EFL Game Day, whether it's 98.1 Radio Eastern FM or EFL.org.au. This is EFL Game Day, brought to you by the EFL mobile web app. Make sure you put m.efl.org.au in your mobile browser to get access to all the latest EFL updates, news, and of course those scores. Daniel Senchik twittering away on @FootyEFL today. You can text us anytime on 0419 654 082. Ball back in the middle, and it's going to be Lilydale through Hill. Out of the stoppage, good kick up forward. There's that man again, Daniel Breeze, who's had plenty of the footy so far. He looked to wheel onto that right foot. High kick up towards the full forward area. Sargent's in position. Sargent
got it.
Takes the mark. Nick Sargent is playing the game of his life in this first half. He can go back and look to put through his 4th goal in the first half and give Lilydale a 19-point lead, and he does. Nick Sargent, he's got 2 in each quarter. Lilydale have 6, and they are 6-4-40, leading Knox 3-3-21. Just over 20.5 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Frosty, you have found a player here, Simon Rourke.
Certainly have. I mean, he hasn't been named in the best yet once this for Lilydale. He's only kicked the 2 goals for the year. He's got 4 in the first half today, and he's had a hand in at least 2 of the others, the other 2 that they've scored. He's been a real super find today for Simon Rourke, playing the game of his life, as you said.
Let's hear some of those Division 1 scores with Daniel Sensick around the grounds.
Yeah, Vermont 13 points over South Croydon. Scoresby 5 points over Croydon. Eastfield 1 point over Blackburn. Lilydale, of course, opening up a bit of a lead here. Noble Park 2 points over East Ringwood.
Knox have got the clearance here, but it's only gone as far as Jared Braden, who on the left boot goes up towards the half-forward line. Oh, nearly could have been a free kick paid here. The Pies let it go over the boundary line and out of bounds. Let's look at Division 2. No, you've already given the headset away. We thought we were working nicely in tandem there. So the umpire to throw the ball in now. Let's cover the 4 divisions before you give it back away. At the fall of the ball, Ryan Breeze tried to squeeze through a kick. He did. Went towards Roach. He's been good at ground level. Gets his handball away. Kick inside forward 50. First one to meet, it's going to be Sam Jeffrey. Snap around the body was absolutely terrible. Put his teammate under a lot of pressure. Treadray gets it back to Jeffrey. Once again, his kick was smothered, so the ball's gone nowhere in the last 4 possessions. And it's about 40 metres out from goal. Lilydale's then. Let's hear those Division 2 scores. Daniel Sensick.
Rulebuck 12 points over Bayswater. Roeville 20 points over Doncaster. Donvale 5 points over Doncaster East. And Montrose 11 points over Mulgrave.
Umpire throws it in. O'Keefe came right over the back of the pack. Tried to get a good disposal out to a teammate running on. It's going to be another stoppage. Sargent at the fall of the ball. He's getting in and under. I really like the look of him. Trojan workman-like.
Yes.
Workhorse-like. Same thing. Jeffrey got the knockdown. Healy, well, he stood at the back of the pack and then got the kick out towards the half-back line for Knox. Free kick's going to be to Lilydale. That didn't please the home fans. It's a little bit stiff, that one, so it'll be Barden for Lilydale. Can they kick another late goal in this term? The kick up towards the half-forward line was fisted away at the fall of the ball. Hill got it back. Kick up towards the forward pocket. Kick wasn't too good. Sam Jeffrey did well to Makia. Short passes on to Kay. They just need to slow it down a little bit, Knox. Lilydale kicking the last 3 goals of this game. Scores were tied only moments ago. Lilydale kicking the last 3. Kick up towards the Healy direction. Roach came over the back of the pack. Couldn't get a bite on it at the fall of the ball. Carswell gave it off to Mitchell. Mitchell gave it back to Carswell. Up towards Roach. There are a series of handballs to Carswell, back to Roach. He's going to bang it on his boot now. Kicks it up towards the half-forward line. It's an absolute shocker. And the mark has been taken. 50 metres out from goal for Knox. Can they get a break through the middle of the ground? Kick goes in that direction now, but it got chopped off that time by Hill. Gave the handball off to Allen, who wants to send the ball long. This is a very good kick. What a goal that was there by Robert Allen from almost the middle of the ground. He set sail and banged it on his boot, and that's a very handy goal at the 24-minute mark on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It's a 25-point ball game. Would you believe it now, Peter Baird?
Yeah, smart play then by Allen. When the ball came out to him, he saw that the forward goal square was open. Banged the ball onto the boot. It had to carry nearly to go all the way through anyway. The ball's bounced deep in the goal square and just gone through for the goal. And Lilydale have jumped out to that lead now. This is going to be time for Knox to respond. Their season's on the line here, Ben Waterworth.
Certainly right. Lilydale have kicked the past 4 goals in this game. Let's head to to Grant Campbell with some stats that matter thanks to Choose Tap.
Last 7 inside 50s for Lilydale.
They're certainly on top at the moment, and it's showing in the inside 50 Choose Tap count. It's showing on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Lilydale 7-4-46 to Knox 3-3-21. Bakes trying to lift his team. Got a clearing hand pass out, but another tackle and another stoppage. Lilydale causing plenty of stoppages at the moment. They're doing a fantastic job in really keeping this game quite even. Ball up. Umpire's put out a free kick that's going to go the way of the Dales, and they're off and running through. Ryan Breeze gets a releasing hand pass over the top now to Taylor. Chips it over the top, looking for Sargent. Jeez, he's in good touch at the moment. Kept the ball in front of himself. Did well, and he's got to run into an open goal. Is Jay Pumper. He pumps it through, does Jay Pumper. And they have their 5th goal in a row, Lilydale. 8-4-52 to Knox, 3-3-21, 25 and a half minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Peter Baird, where the heck has this come from?
I'll tell you what, you might put that goal down to Pumper, but I reckon it was Nick Sargent then. The ball was on the ground, deep on the boundary line. It would have been very easy to let that ball go out of play. He worked hard, fought hard in the contest, and was able to handball the ball out in front of the running Pumper, who's just run into an open goal. Chalk that goal down to Nick Sargent, Ben Waterworth.
Let's cross down boundary side to Damien Watson, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Thanks very much, BWS. Interesting to note that Knox coach John Knight has moved Saunders off Sargent, and now he's put Michael Aiello on him
What do they need?
last few minutes.
Thank you very much to Damo. What do they need to change up, Knox, Peter Baird, to get back in this game?
I was just thinking about the comments that Simon Rourke made before the game, how he wanted to make it one-on-one. We thought that might have played into the hands of Knox, but what it's done is stopped Knox from flooding numbers back behind the play, because every time they do that, a Lilydale opponent goes with them. So it stops them setting up that zone and strangling the opposition, which is what we've seen Knox do over the last few years. So this might be a masterstroke from Simon Rourke in doing that, because it's really shut down Knox's defensive structure and strangulation.
Ball back in the middle of the ground now to be Roach versus Jeffrey. Got the tap down. Can they get a centre clearance? Charging through was Brett Kay. That was good play by Knox. The ball goes up towards the half-forward line. Carswell had front spot. Matty Clark needed to get that. Kick outside forward. 50 for Lilydale. They're going to clear it now. They're going to win a free kick. Also, no, the free kick went the other way, and Clark's taken a mark just inside forward 50 for Knox. He's going to kick it to the top. It might be just outside his range. The big man Healy's there. Chris Shaw, very timely fist at the last line of defence, and they're going to clear it away through Allen now. He's an everywhere man in the last few minutes. Kicked a goal a moment ago, and now at the last line of defence, the ball comes out towards McGowan. Knox tried to get a handball away. That was okay by Cracker. Put his body on the line. So too did Wright. He's down there. Great tackle by Ryan Mitchell just to hold up the ball for Lilydale right in front of all the fans here on the hill out at Knox Gardens Reserve. It's a terrific afternoon, not a cloud in the sky. And the Lilydale side have just run away with this one a little bit. Roach tried to get the knockdown. It goes to the fall of the feet. We'll have an out.
And Division 4 BWS in the probably the game of the round. The Eastern Lions 3-5-23, trailing the Ferntree Gully Eagles 3-7-25.
So a little bit of argy-bargy here on centre wing. There's a function here today for Knox, and the fans really enjoyed that one. So the free kick will go to Jeffrey. Kick up towards the half-forward line. Who's going to be the flyer? Jordan's there. He didn't go up at the fall. The ball shores down. He's going to pick it up and run it over the boundary line and out of bounds. Right in front of us here in our broadcast position. 28 minutes gone. It's a pretty handy lead now of 31 points. Knox, it's in their forward 50. They need to squeeze a goal out or two before this term is over. Healy could have taken it straight out. It came over the back to Grant Hill. Tried to break a couple of calls. The umpire said, I'll have it one more time. They're enjoying the bounces today, the umpires, but they are moving the ball on very quickly. Time's been blown back on. It'll be Powell versus Healy, both into the ruck as the siren goes. It's half-time here, and there was a little bit of a run-on too because Marcus Jordan made space, but siren beats all players. It's half-time here out at Knox Gardens Reserve Division 1 day. It's Knox taking on Lilydale, and it's Lilydale, the away side, leading by 31 points at half-time. They are 8 goals for 52. Knox are 3-21. Can they claw their way back into this game? Only time will tell. We'll be back after the break with all the around-the-ground scores with Daniel Sensick and Ben Waterworth here on EFL Game Day.
Interested in great music? Need some recipe ideas? Tune in for Yum Cha. Just like a Yum Cha, it's surprising and entertaining. The interesting bits of community information served up with great music and lots of laughs. There'll be a weekly segment where we'll talk food in all its glory and a funny to brighten your day. Lighten up your weekend with Dee Copsey and Yum Cha. 11 till 1 every Saturday here on your station, Radio Eastern 98.1.
12 after 3, Radio Eastern 98.1. Baron Cont's here back in the studio. Yes, it's half-time in our EFL match today, and we'll return to Knox in just a moment. Let's check some AFL scores now, and a half-time score between North Melbourne and West Coast being played in Tasmania this afternoon, and at half-time it's North Melbourne 9-3-57, leading West Coast 4-6-30. Major goal kickers for North Melbourne, Thomas has 3, 2 to Tarrant and 1 to Hanson, and for West Coast, Dean Cox, Darling and Kerr all have 1 each, and that game just about to get underway for the third quarter. And the other game being played today is at the MCG. It's almost half-time. A short while ago, it was Richmond 6-8-44, leading Melbourne 4-4-28. Goal kickers for Richmond, Delidio has 2, and 1 each to Grigg and McGuan. And for Melbourne, Bees has 1, also Garland and